every... What day is it?
Tuesday?
Tuesday night! His ghost returns to wreak his horrible vengeance.
Oh, but tonight's Tuesday night!
Then he'll be coming.
Fade in.
I'm chilling.
In an age where most movies are referred to as content, I would say that 99% of most movies are pretty bad. I always try to, like, when I say 99%, I mean of mainstream.
Ooh, so...
I'm the studio executive in charge of Star Wars, and we're making a new Star Wars movie, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put Han, Luke, and Leia in a scene together. And the fact that that moment, we will never be able to have that moment in cinema when Carrie Fisher was alive, that to me is, I mean, that's malpractice. You have no excuse. Your job is to entertain me, not lecture me, not lecture me. Your job is to entertain me. Unfortunately, we live in a time, you know, back in the day when Star Wars was first made, I feel like they were checking one box and it was called fun. And now there's a million boxes that must be checked. There are all sorts of noting and committees and this thing, and this is where you end up with you know, that last Star Wars movie by J.J. Abrams is unwatchable. I mean, it's garbage. And I think that whether Hollywood notices it or not, I think that people don't really like politics woven into fairly mainstream, what should be mainstream entertainment experiences. And I think we're seeing that more and more. It's unbelievable to me. I think you're leaving money on the table for not giving what the customer is looking for in that experience. You're seeing people from within that company attack the fans. It's just like, I hate to see it because I'm like, nerds are my people. I go to San Diego Comic-Con every year. I have since the 90s gone to San Diego Comic-Con. And so to see people fractured over this is really disheartening. But when it comes to studio movies, there's no excuse not to fail. I like to be an optimist. So I don't know that 99% of the studio movies are bad. Maybe it's more like 97. We can quibble about the percentages, but you know, stuff leaks through.
We're the fun suckers now.
So the truth is, this is really what my evening is.
Green lights, baby. Let's go.
Say, kids, what time is
Tonight's Tuesday night!
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Hey, Delta.
Night, baby.
Hello.
So, we got a packed show because we took a week off. Did everybody enjoy their week off?
It was refreshing.
A bit.
Yes and no.
Okay.
It was a lot of work.
All right. Well, let's go around the horn. Introduce.
Wait, it was a lot of work not being here?
It was a busy Memorial weekend,
A
unfortunately.
lot of work putting this thing together. So
that too. But I wish I had something to do more than work, but what are you gonna do?
It happens, man. All right, to my that away. Delta 6, Edson Gomes, how are you?
I'm good.
We're gonna revisit the story we did the other day, but briefly.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, Memorial Day weekend was good.
Except the weather.
Well, yeah. I got some extra sleep though, more than the
Did you get? You have a pool, right, Datsun?
Yep.
Did you set your pool up on Memorial Day weekend, like every other New Englander who owns a pool?
My pool's been open since last week of April. Or no, wait, for first week of April, somewhere in the April.
We're wondering about that because it was a cold weekend here.
It was.
He heats his pool.
Yeah, it was in the 80s. The water was in the 80s.
Wow, I got to stop at your house.
Wow. Well, below Fancy Edson would be Spoiler Pete. How are you?
Hello, on location in scenic New Milford, Connecticut.
Oh,
thus not at Milford. No, I'm not at Maury's.
Yep.
You're not in Milford. You're not in Old Milford. You are in New
Yes, there is a huge difference.
I wonder.
There is.
I wonder if there's some kind of thing going on with that. Like some guy was from the old Milford and then decided to make a new Milford just to get back.
I'm gonna make my own. I'm gonna make my own Milford with hookers and blackjack.
Sounds like China and Taiwan, which is part of one of our stories too.
Below me would be Judah Buddha, who's got.
Hello, everybody. I promise I won't be too cranky. I'm better now. I got my coffee, so.
So do I. Yeah, I got a coffee too. I would be your host, Keith, for the evening. And then we have two guests, so let's bring them in, shall we? First, I would like to add the lovely Rowan, Ginger Raven, Kate to the stream. How are you, Kate?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Hey.
Great. Thanks for coming on. This has been something, because we have a large gallery of our normal, regular people on this channel. I can only bring like one, maybe two guests a week in, and it takes forever to get to everybody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we're slowly trudging our way through. So, and also coming back, and this guest was one of our first guests ever when we started doing this. Does everybody want to welcome back Edwin Acevedo?
Edwin.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Yeah, welcome back, man. So you've been on quite a journey. All right, well, both of you are going to get to peddle your wares. So. Right up front, so we'll get it out of the way right up front, so I don't forget like an idiot. Let's start with you, Kate. Whoops. What's this all about? Tell them.
It's virtual interior design, so I can help you make your house pretty and fun and express yourself in a cost-effective way.
I definitely need that in my life.
Oh, yeah. Well, here we are. Let's start right now, dude.
Well, then we got a website for you, Jude.
There's nothing like having 3 arcade machines sitting in my living room and a TIE fighter.
What would you do with that?
It depends on the size of the house overall and what you want to do with it. Because if you have if you wanted a dedicated entertainment space, that would be ideal, and have them set up like a bar, but different because it's your house and you don't need to be ID'd in your own house. Whereas having them arbitrarily in your living room might be a little of a tripping hazard. Oh no, what's not working? There we go.
I can't type, Kate.
Give me a heart attack.
It's 4 letters and I messed it up.
Otherwise, you could totally buy just random affiliated links, which I have to say, because I'm legally responsible that if you purchase this, I have to say I get commission. So these are 2 fun collections of decor and furniture, and you can go to that website. It's Side Door, and you sign up and buy whatever you want, and I get a fat check. You keep scrolling down, and there's all sorts of fun other stuff from Amazon, other mishmash, like other purchasable living room, bedroom, office sets. Like you will get the shopping list and go and do it all yourself.
This is like a room in a box, pretty much.
Exactly.
Sort of.
That's a good way to put it. Yep.
Nice. So this is kind of like going to IKEA, except the IKEA furniture is crap, and just sitting in their little like IKEA rooms and just being like, I can see this.
And then just cool stuff on Amazon, because they actually do have some cool designer things that no one knows about because it's just hard to find. So
that's awesome.
That's cool.
Very cool. New couch, so I'm gonna get a new couch.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. We have 2, entrepreneurial people. It's great. Kate, you're very entrepreneurial. You have you're phenomenal. Oh, did I just click the wrong thing?
You clicked your misspelled button.
Oh my God!
At least my website is legible.
Yeah.
Some people, it's like, we picked 5 fonts and I don't know where to go. It's like, please hire someone to make this pretty for you. I lucked out and just did this over years and trial and error, so on my own with the website. But that's not what I'm good at, I promise.
No, well, you have a really cool, great eye for art, and
some people say she has too.
What?
Yeah, I hope so.
Why you're here? So I'm going to transition. Speaking of art, let's go to our comic book entrepreneur, Edwin, the ace. I'm so excited. I know everyone on this channel is excited for you because you come on back in, my God, was it January of this year? And you were about to launch this thing. And your goal was what, 3,000, 3,500, somewhere in there?
Yep, 3,500. Yeah.
And look at what you did. You almost doubled it. That's awesome.
Oh.
Wow.
Yep.
That is cool.
So tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so The Ace is the story of a young man who's looking for his purpose in life. He's out of college. He's working a regular job in a small town, and he kind of feels there's more out there in life for him, but he doesn't exactly know what to do or where to go. He had his dreams when he was younger. They didn't kind of work out like he wanted to. So now he's just trying to figure stuff out. And then one day, by happenstance, a shooting star crash lands in a park nearby. And when he goes to discover the wreckage, he ends up finding something that gives him the ability to transform into the armored being that you see on the screen there, that he calls the Ace. And the main story takes place 6 months after he's found the armor, when Akula, the giant bounty hunter space shark, shows up at his front door looking to take the armor for himself.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
Show up like Land Shark on Saturday Night Live. He like ring the doorbell and he's like, "Who's there? Land Shark."
Anyway.
A little more action packed though.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I like the harpoon
not
as a
quite,
weapon.
but yeah, but he does literally show up at his front door. So
that's awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome. So you hit like a bunch of stretch goals doing this, right?
Yeah, we unlocked all the stretch goals that the campaign had put up. So you're going to be getting, in addition, if you just back the book, you'll be getting a trading card, you'll be getting 2 prints, and you'll be getting 4 stickers just for backing the book.
That is
That
awesome.
goes for all backers.
So how's the book coming along now? Like, are you're the writer. Is it drawn? Is it inked? Like, what state is it in? Because I think you were saying August was the target, right?
July. But
July.
yeah, we're actually, we started
Wow.
shipping last week. And
really?
So
Jeez.
yeah, it was
Wow.
first couple packages got sent out. It's going to be a slow process because I do got a regular day job, and this is the first time I'm doing this. So I got to take my time with it. But
Yeah.
little by little, we're starting to get packages. There's actually a couple people tweeted out that they got their packages over the weekend. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
it's the process right now.
A lot quicker than some of the other ones I backed.
So are you doing this completely on your own, or do you have help?
Oh, as far as like the shipping, I'm doing it
Yeah.
all by myself. On the book, I'm just the writer creator. I have Ibaiken drawing the main story. He's done work with Richard C. Meyer on Iron Sights. I have Sweens, who did the book Oddity. And then I have How Comics, who did work for Phil and the Lost Pages, working on the book. They all brought amazing artwork to the book and really made it look pretty killer.
That's great, man. So
That's
I'm
very cool.
really happy because I know someone who's been toying with this idea for years. He's really talented, but he doesn't quite wrap his head around the concept of how to do this. And I was telling him, I'm like, watch the show Tuesday. We had this guy Edwin on. It was his first time, and he almost doubled the goal. Like,
Yeah.
this is possible. You can make this happen. So.
But like you said, you really got to throw everything at this. I mean, you're doing the comic book, and then you have to think about how you're going to ship these out, and so you're really, it's a lot of work, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, man, it's been over 2 years since, almost 2.5 years now, actually, since I first came up with the initial idea to writing it, to hiring people to work on it, to getting it finished, getting the print file ready, and now starting to ship. So it's definitely got to take something. It's definitely possible, but you got to take your time with it, and you got to make sure everything's right. And try to get as much done ahead of time as possible, because that really helped me out. I had all the artwork and everything done by the time I launched it. So it's just working on some little side stuff that actually took a lot longer than I thought it would, but I'm glad I gave myself the buffer. So.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah,
is that the alert?
Yeah, I got the same Amber Alert.
Me too.
Amber Alert, yeah. Oh no, 4 years old, 4-year-old boy. Armel Muhammad, 4-year-old black male, last seen in a 2010 blue Chevy Malibu. So, folks, if you see that, I'm sure everybody's getting the same alert. Sucks, man. All right, we got Edwin. Awesome, man. I can't wait to get my copies. I know I jumped in immediately on this, so looking forward to getting mine. And congrats. You got another one coming up after this, or are you just going to take a break for a while?
No, we're actually just talked to Canales today and sent him the script for Volume 2. He's taking a little vacation, but he'll look it over and probably in a couple of weeks we'll start seeing if we could turn out some designs and stuff and start working on Volume 2.
Outstanding.
Very
Outstanding.
cool.
Congrats, man. I'm excited for you.
Thank you, man.
All right. Let me just so let's quickly acknowledge people in the chat. Mr. Londell, Jace, Bobby Campbell. Bobby, you're way ahead of the stories here.
Yeah,
my friend.
He is.
Way ahead. We'll get there. So for our guests, we usually do this happened by accident. We had a goofy story that I saw Az and Gary from Nerdrotic cover, and I had to find it and do it on ours. And it was about a guy who married a sex doll. And Stacy,
again.
Are we still on that one?
I know.
No. Stacy got the idea that we should do a weirdo story of the week, and we've been trying to find.
I thought you invited him on the show, but
Mr. Sex Doll himself.
That's what I thought you were segueing to. He's like, "Hey, Ed, Booyah."
Can you imagine? No, so we've been trying to find goofy or strange news stories every week, which is harder than it sounds. Yeah. And we've been sent some, and it's great. But this one I saw on Eric July's channel, and it was like, you got to be kidding me. Do you guys see this?
Yep.
Yeah, I did. I actually read about this.
Oh, well, great. Yeah, they've been harping on lemonade stands for 15 years.
Have they really?
Oh, yeah, a lot of places. Any metropolitan area, yeah.
I'm out to lunch on this, I guess, because for me, growing up, like kids with lemonade stands was.
Yeah, I did too. 90s, yeah.
Well, the IRS wants their cut, man. You can't just go making money on the street.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of years ago, a couple of my friends' kids were doing it, and I went and bought some, lemonade.
Yeah, I wonder if it has to do with the neighborhoods mostly.
Yeah.
So the more hoity-toity, the more problematic it becomes.
Yeah. I don't know if this is hoity-toity, but anyway, Malaya King and Milan Keith, 10 and 11 years old cousins, came up with an idea for a lip gloss business. And that was the easy part. What's difficult is how to fund the business venture that the two elementary school students thought would be the jumpstart to becoming entrepreneurs. That's great, man. Yeah, my daughter's already thinking about starting a business of her own. She's 8.
Wow.
We can work for ourselves and not have to work for other
Jesus.
people. On the 10-year-old in an interview, and people can't boss us around, even though that's how it's supposed to go. So their grandmother and their sisters, Kimmy Wright. How do you say that? I'm gonna butcher that. Is it Kimmy Ree King? Kimmy Ree? Come on. I don't know. I'm sorry. And Zayani King, 13 to 10. Wanted to grow the lemonade business into a full restaurant where they sold nachos and hot dogs too. So they set it all up last June. They called their business 4K Lemonade, and they were out on the street, and they actually made like different colored lemonades and whatnot. But then on April 27th, 10 months into their business venture, a Richmond police officer and someone from the Virginia Department of Health stopped by the stand, but they weren't there to buy lemonade. Instead, they told the girls that they had 5 business days to obtain a business license and the same amount of time to file any excise taxes from revenue they made.
I knew it. But it's a cash business.
Turns out food requires a health permit, and selling anything for nearly a year requires a business license and tax payments. So they got shut down, but I guess they took the money and they did apply for a business license, and they're hoping to get it soon, and they're going to reopen it.
Yeah, my lemonade stand got audited. Jesus, come on.
Yeah, but this is even better for them. But as the 4K Lemonade caught the attention of a number of community members in the East End, it also caught the attention of Thelbert Williams, who runs the College Food Network, a Richmond-based organization that helps small food businesses expand their products and transform them into products that can be sold on shelves. Can you imagine?
I can.
Yeah.
So, you know, four
Blessing in disguise, man.
Four entrepreneurial little girls who got shut down by the government. You got to be kidding me, right?
It's crazy.
It's astonishing to me because, like I said,
They're gonna go after the Girl Scouts pretty soon. Can't sell cookies anymore.
No, because those cookies, they're manufactured and they're FDA approved.
They're just the curators. They're not the salesperson. Exactly.
Right.
So
like
it's
they're
all
not
already
making
done
the
for
cookies. If they were baking
That's
the cookies, that's a problem.
Right. But even then, if they were baking it, starting an LLC is not difficult. It's
it's just it's amazing that
Yeah.
I guess they're learning at a young age that taxation is theft, right?
Yeah, it is.
Death and taxes, my friends.
That's it.
Yeah, I just think it's amazing they
Lesson
have
learned.
time to come after these people, but there's like tons of fraud in the whole welfare system that they seem to just whatever.
There's tons of fraud in the government itself.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And that's okay. But we'll
That's how they
come after
function
these
best.
Come after a bunch of 11-year-olds.
Yeah.
That's just how they feed themselves. That's what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of death, Jude, death and taxes. School of Rock drummer.
Yeah, I heard about this. So
He got
sad.
hit by a car. It's awful.
Makes me feel old.
It does. I still I can't even. I mean, I still think the kids are still young. You know, I see him now, and I'm like, wait a second. Didn't this movie come out like 2 years ago?
No,
Well, I'm not that old, but okay.
You're very old, Jude.
Apparently.
2003, man.
Oh.
Yeah. So he was 13 in the movie. Now he's 32.
Yeah.
Shit.
Damn.
Yeah, he was struck by a Hyundai Sonata riding his bike. He pronounced dead less than later. That sucks. The driver of the car, a 20-year-old woman, was cited at the accident. How much do you want to make a bet? She was on her fucking phone.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
The house across the street from me got hit by a car, drove right into his house.
Oh my god.
Back in
Oh,
October.
man, yes, I remember that.
They just repaired it last week because of all the insurance. But the girl was texting. She actually went across the road because someone was coming head on, drove across the front lawn, lost control of the car, and went into his house.
Wow.
Keith, your street is like your street is like a death trap.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
The car flipped and was facing the opposite way. Hit the house so hard.
Yeah, we had it was 2 years ago. We were at Keith's house and we heard crash.
No, it was last
Boom.
August.
Well, that wasn't 2 years ago.
That was last August.
Was it last August?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we walked down the street and it was one kid it was following his friend who blew the stop sign, and then he blew the stop sign, and then someone hit him.
T-boned him. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And you'd think that, you know, because of the damage to the cars that nobody walked away, but they were all fine.
They were fine. And
They
my
need to
final
put one of
fighter
those.
people looking at the pictures said, I bet they're not a scratch on these people.
Yeah.
Because he said how these new cars are built and everything. Hey, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Yeah, that was a fun movie, School of Rock. Back when we could make comedy.
Lurking.
Yeah.
Speaking of death, did everybody see this?
Yeah.
I saw it. But
I didn't see it, but I saw the article.
Story.
I heard about this. Yes.
Dead
That's awesome.
Pixels.
Yeah, Dead Pixels.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
It's like back in the day when your parents were shooting home movies, and then when you watch it back, it's got the date and the time stamped on it, and you're like, "Fuck, what the hell, Mom?"
Not quite. This is the
But
downside.
yeah, this isn't as bad.
This is a downside of shooting digital over film, right?
Exactly.
Because, and shame on the rental company that they got the red Monstro camera from, because it clearly had dead pixels, and they shot like a bunch of the movie with it. And I'm surprised nobody caught that looking at dailies or even on set, you know, at the Video Village. Nobody caught that.
Yeah, I mean,
this came to my attention because Red Letter Media did a review of it, and I was watching it, and they thought Jay thought his TV was dying. He's like, "Oh crap!"
oh damn, I got a dead pixel. Son of a bitch, just bought this TV.
Exactly. But then they saw
He's sitting there trying to rub it out.
But then they saw certain scenes, it would go away, and then it would come back because they were using multiple cameras.
Right.
So whatever footage was shot with that particular camera, the dead pixels are there. The whole movie.
This isn't something you catch in post production.
Okay, sorry.
Imagine
Band
the
name.
poor bastard that would actually have to fix that. Just
Yeah,
advance,
but the algorithms
advance.
You could paint right over it, but it would take forever, I guess. I don't know.
Can you imagine the render time on the compression on that? That thing was probably shot at uncompressed.
But you could motion track. You should be able to motion track. You pick the pixel and just motion track.
There's probably an Adobe filter for it that you put on.
Do it in Premiere. It's just that nobody bothered. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. I just think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I've never really been a fan of red cameras, so.
Well, did you like the movie,
Keith,
though?
I thought you were.
No, I'm not a fan of red cameras.
Did I like the movie or did? What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Did anyone like the movie? If you
I
watched
haven't
it?
seen it, so
I haven't seen it.
Nor I.
I would say it's okay. It's definitely a movie that if you go into it, you're gonna it's just entertainment. It's not gonna be like anything you've left saying that was brilliant, that was great, it was the best zombie movie. It's just fluff. It's entertainment for a Friday night or Saturday.
Which is a rare thing these days, so that's a glowing endorsement.
Definitely crack open a few beers and just relax and just, I mean, it's not going to be like the best zombie movie in the world, but it was fun. It is what it is. I mean, I didn't think they were zombies. They're more like orcs. Definitely. I didn't get the whole zombie thing, but you'll find out when you watch it. You're kind of like, oh, okay. These kind of remind me of orcs from Lord of the Rings, but hey, to each his own on what a zombie is, right?
I heard the running time on it, and I was like,
It's on Netflix now, so you don't have to go to the theater.
Yeah, I don't have Netflix. I dropped it because I don't have time to watch anything.
Same.
Yeah, same, Edwin.
It's just not enough time, to like, especially, there's very little movies these days that really interest me. I think the last one that was any sort of good was Godzilla versus Kong. That was fun.
Yeah.
But aside from that, most of these other movies I think are pretty terrible. So
And we have a story.
Had to cut it.
Several stories about that.
You're
Yeah.
preempting that story.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Who's excited for the Patrick Star show? Like, did you
That's
see
a thing.
I don't know.
Nickelodeon is spinning off SpongeBob, Patrick getting his own show.
Why?
I've always liked them more.
It took him this long to do it.
I've always liked him more when he's with SpongeBob. Is it going to be good with him alone?
Well, it's him living with his family, I guess.
Oh, I understand. But...
Oh boy.
But yeah, I'm one with you, Pete. Why'd it take so long? And the other thing is, can Patrick carry?
Right.
the show? Like,
No, he can't.
no, I wouldn't think so. And the voice cast will have all the Tom Kenny and Roger Bumpus and Clancy Brown, Mr. Lawrence. They're all going to be all the SpongeBob characters make appearances clearly, but this kind of reeks of desperation. I think they know SpongeBob's running out of gas. It's been 21 years now.
Has it been? My God.
No.
No, it's been more than 21 years. I think it's 23, 4.
Creeping mother of God.
Yeah, 1999, right? Yeah.
89,
Wow.
yeah. 98 or 99, something like that. So.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I know I'll have to watch it because of a certain little girl. Shares my DNA. Okay.
It's not going to be as good as Peppa Pig, though.
Oh, Peppa Pig's
all right.
You guys watch Peppa Pig?
I don't even know what Peppa Pig is.
Awesome.
I don't either.
It's awesome.
The only reason I know about that whiny little Charlie Brown ripoff is because of friends of mine, and they hated it so much that I were like, "Here, you need to understand this atrocity, even if you don't have children." It's like, cool. Thanks for the heads up. I get the jokes now.
I love Peppa Pig. It's very clever.
What is Peppa Pig on?
It's British. It's on
Heroin.
Junior.
No, that's just her father.
It's Daddy Pig. He's the best. He's the best. It's just
You
really
know what should
simple.
have had a spin-off was like the inanimate objects in Blue's Clues, like Misty
Oh,
herself
really?
and Mr. Pepia.
Oh,
that would have been funny.
Oh, okay, I just googled it.
I thought it really happened.
I'm looking at the animation. It looks familiar.
Peppa Pig?
Yeah, but I've never seen the actual cartoon.
Yeah, it's an older cartoon. It's like from the early 2000s, but it just hit America like 5 years ago, and my daughter loves it. It's fun to watch because each episode's like 5 minutes long. It's really great.
I like how all their last names are George Pig, Daddy Pig, Mummy Pig, Grandpa Pig,
And
Miss
they all-
Rabbit,
every
Granny
buil-
Pig.
Every building, like the houses or the school or
Kitty
whatever
cat.
building, it's on the top of a hill.
Yeah.
Like, and the car parks like on the hill, and they walk in, and then they leave. They go back down. It's really
Oh my
simple,
God.
like, funny as hell.
I'm just I there's an article that just popped up said that it was banned in China after becoming associated with the gangster
what is it banned?
subculture. A gangster subculture. What?
Does it
Word
just
can't-
like,
What's that?
If there was ever a reason to watch it now, count me in.
right?
China
Peppa
banned,
Pig is hardcore.
How many
China banned
articles?
Peppa the Pig
How
because
many articles a week?
she
do you see
promotes
banned in
gangster
China?
attitudes. How old's the story?
Peppa
Yeah,
Pig
yeah.
will cut you if you don't watch.
No, cut a bitch.
Like
Cut
an
a bitch.
8-year-old or something. Peppa. Yeah.
That's funny.
So
Oh, yeah.
here's a question. We'll go around the horn. So would you give up? First of all, who has HBO Max? Do we all
I
have?
have HBO
I
Max
do right
only
now.
because I have still have cable, so I get it
I
free.
do not have it.
Okay, I do.
I have it.
I got rid of HBO after Game of Thrones, like everybody else.
I never watched Game of Thrones. I never
Oh.
watched it. Never cared. The fact that there's
Wow.
incest is like, peace out, fucker.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You're
Kate.
better off.
Good point. That's a good point.
Well, I wouldn't watch it now after the last season because the last season just completely ruined the whole thing. But no, once Game of Thrones went up, I was like, why do I need to have HBO anymore? So no, I don't have it.
Pete?
I have access to it, but I don't have it.
Oh, okay. We see.
I have access to the movies that are on it.
All right.
Friends
Well,
are for.
For those of us who have it, or if you don't, would you be tempted to do this? Save $5 a month to watch commercials.
No.
Well, I have Hulu through a phone bill, and that's enough for that. So
The other thing is, I believe this plan also says you will not get the movies that premiere in the theaters.
Oh, the first run stuff.
Also, so that's another reason why not
I
to
mean,
do it.
Yeah, no, pass.
I think we're all getting spoiled now that, it's just like listening to Spotify without paying for it. And you get into an album and all of a sudden 2 ads, 3 ads come on. It's like, no one wants that anymore. We're spoiled. We don't want anything playing during our groove of getting into something.
But Spotify is a lot like owning the music because you're paying monthly. So I would not quite the same as watching a show that was made to have commercials. Because music, you're not gonna have an ad in the middle of a 10-minute long song.
True.
So that's the difference. Like, you can turn on the radio, or you can have it on, listen to a plethora of albums you would ideally want to own, but can't because of space.
Yeah. But they already have channels out there. Like I know on my Amazon Fire Stick, I can download this channel or this app called Pluto, and they do free movies and they run ads during the movies.
Yeah.
And IMDb, their channel does the same thing.
Yeah, it's loaded with ads. It's annoying.
Yeah,
it's
not like
annoying.
you have to do anything. But
Yeah,
I don't know. I
Peacock.
doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
So you don't have to pay $10 a month to do this already,
Right.
because these channels are already out for free and they do it already.
Yep.
They were considering doing it for $4.99 a month, which is like Hulu's $5.99, Paramount Plus, $4.99, like $9.99, and you got to sit through ads. I mean, that's not a big savings to me.
No.
In
fact, I get confused when I go over people's houses who still have cable and commercials come on, and I'm like, oh, what's this? Like what the hell? So
now, are the ads coming up in the middle of the movies? Because that would not be worth.
That's
the
what I
price.
was thinking.
I wouldn't mind an ad before and or after the movie, but if it's like Kong's about to land a punch on Godzilla's face, and all of a sudden, hey, Domino's Pizza.
Right. Like that's the thing is like where you place the ads, people don't care as much. After 5 songs and 10, 20 minutes
It'll
of
be like
music, it's fine.
YouTube.
After a movie,
It'll be
fine.
like right in the middle.
That would not be fine. But people are accustomed to YouTube, and for the most part, people who are big creators that get all the ads that are that long, they pick where they go.
Mm-hmm.
At least you can kind of maneuver
them.
Right. So
yeah, it is kind of weird that everything's on an algorithm and it knows you as well now with ads. And that's the scary thing.
That's the same as dude, seriously. That's the same as watching HGTV and getting Lowe's commercials. What's the difference?
Right.
Yep.
Right. So, Jude, no matter what platform you're on, you will continue to get Viagra ads no matter what.
I bought stock in Pfizer. Come on, man.
So this happened. Edson and I covered this the day it happened. Just curious to what everybody's thoughts are on this.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Bezos, he's going to be taking over the world anyway. So,
what's that
Yeah,
weird
that's
noise?
my thought exactly.
I mean, this is just another thing he can gobble up. Soon he'll own Disney, so that might be a good thing. And he'll own all the Beatles songs.
It's this consolidation of your entertainment. You're going to have 4 corporations, 5 corporations running everything, and
right.
And I've said it on several streams already now. Like the counter argument is, well, Hollywood started that way. There was, 4 or 5 large studios that had everything, right? The difference is they weren't like corporations that are.
But people also forget that everyone was in New York before they went out to Hollywood to make it on their own. So Hollywood isn't just this magical thing that started it all. It started before Hollywood.
That's true.
And it can start again. It is in a very nomadic fashion.
Yeah, and I just see stuff like this where they're just excited about old IP instead of like, oh, we can use the studio resources to make new content. They just want to relaunch all this old stuff. And when you have these corporations, and we know how this works, we've seen it already with Disney, and probably Time Warner when they're getting tossed around every 2 years, but you get this consolidation of ideas and you don't get the diversity of thought, to me anyway, because you'll have this corporate mandate. No matter what studio you're in, if they own you, you're all kind of be required to tell the same kind of stories, right? I don't know. It just seems like you're gonna have 4 or 5 companies controlling all of the intellectual property. It's just, to me.
And of course, they'll be changing it along the way, or digitally putting ads in there, or changing content as they see fit, because something is problematic today that wasn't problematic yesterday, or they decide to put Coca-Cola ads in Casablanca.
Yeah, right. Or it's just going to be exclusive to Amazon, so you'll never see it unless you have Amazon or you own the DVD.
Exactly.
Right.
Mr. Lundell makes a good point too. I want to know what's going to happen with the MGM movie catalog. Are we going to see the classic movies as well? I would hope so, because when we saw this with Disney when they bought Fox, they just put like most of the Fox library on a shelf. So, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's just like you're owning a painting or something. It's whether or not you're going to display it or you're just going to hoard it and put it somewhere, and just hang it in your living room.
Really interesting to me is they got MGM for a song. Like you
Yeah,
go
made that
2
point,
years ago, right, or 3 years ago, AT&T buys Time Warner $85 billion. Disney buys Fox or overpays for Fox 71. Warner Media gets resold to Discovery for 43, just like 2 weeks ago. Sky Network 39, Viacom 12, Fox Sports 10. Like, so MGM, they got this dirt cheap. For Jeff Bezos, that's a lunch, right?
Yep, pretty much.
That's another super yacht.
That's you. There you go.
Guess what I'm watching on my yacht?
That is my favorite story of the year. Him setting up the Legion of Doom, about to take over the world. His mega yacht.
His mega yacht.
Yeah.
Like Lex Luthor out there on the.
Yeah, right here. It's just waiting for Deathstroke to roll up on his boat. Be like,
Nice.
you called me.
Yeah, it just he clearly just by citing all this stuff and how excited they are to start pillaging all this stuff.
Well, yeah.
We've seen
idea.
he's going to do this to Lord of the Rings and he's not. He wants to have a Game of Thrones knockoff, so he's using Lord of the Rings to do it.
Yeah.
And they're bringing in, what do they bring in? What an intimacy counselor to help people get comfortable naked. Like, people aren't supposed to be naked in the Lord of the Rings. What the hell?
Well, J.J. Abrams is in charge of it, so who knows?
Well, it's not J.J., but it's two guys from Bad Reboot. So
yeah,
Reboot. I love that.
Say the magic words.
That's it.
Bad Reboot.
That's it. So, it's funny when you want to have a Game of Thrones knockoff. So you use Lord of the Rings, which Game of Thrones is a Lord of the Rings knockoff, to make a Game of Thrones knockoff using.
Yeah, all fantasy novels are ultimately Lord of the Rings, not knockoffs.
Right.
D&D was based off of Lord of the Rings, pretty much.
Yeah.
Most fantasy stuff's based off of mythology, so no.
Yeah. True. That's very true.
So Senator Hawley from Missouri says this should not go through. And isn't there an antitrust suit right now against Amazon for having a monopoly?
I don't know.
I think there is. Edson, we saw that, right? I already closed that.
I'm trying to remember.
Because Amazon is already a monopoly platform that owns e-commerce, shipping, groceries, and the
right. Yep.
They shouldn't be permitted to buy anything else. Period. That's pretty interesting.
That's better be careful. He might be drinking some of my grandpa's lemonade there.
You're gonna take Granny's peach tea.
Yes.
This deal does still have to go through regulator. So it's not a done deal for sure.
Right. First, it's got to be approved by stockholders, then it's got to be approved by the SEC. So, once they bribe the FCC, you think the SEC is going to say no to Jeff Bezos?
Probably not.
Are they going
They'll
to
just use that giant head of his and like?
Yeah, who knows if they're going to do Stargate? I mean, I'm sure they're going to do a bunch of Bond movie shows or something. But they might do it with Stargate too. So.
Yep.
So he's just setting himself up also to get exclusive to just Prime. So you have to buy into Prime to get these shows if they're going to release them.
Yeah,
pretty much. He's just
Amazon
building his world.
facing pushback from both Hawley and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders after an amendment was tacked onto New York Senator Chuck Schumer's Endless Frontier Act that appropriates $10 billion to Amazon founder Jeff Bezos' space company Blue Origin. Fox Business reports the $10 billion was part of an amendment tacked onto the Endless Frontier Act. The amendment was authored by the Democratic chairwoman of the Senate Commerce Science.
So
you can do it.
I have a serious question.
Yeah.
Does this just sound like they're jealous that Bezos is self-made and they're politicians, so everyone hates?
Probably. Probably. It is interesting though that these billionaires are building rockets to get the fuck out of here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. They probably already have estates on Mars right now. It's in the works. They're being built underneath the ground.
Yeah,
they're gonna be like in their spaceships, just going "fuck you all."
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's gonna go through. There's no stopping it. They can whine and cry all they want, but what it's forcing are probably more of these buy-ups. So I heard this rumor. I heard that Comcast said that if it was going to happen with MGM, they were going to go after Viacom. Apple wants Lionsgate and AMC, I guess. So, or Lionsgate's up for grabs for either Comcast or Apple.
Right.
So, and Apple wants AMC. So you're going to, again, it's going to come down to, and now you're seeing big tech. Like big tech is buying the studios, right?
Yep.
Very bizarre situation. And it's all for the streaming. And the ironic thing is we're seeing the box office coming back. I saw today, actually, at the gym, I saw AMC like raised $250 million, right?
Yep.
Toward their debt already. Like, and Quiet Place 2 hit a home run this weekend. And,
oh, yeah. Yep.
So I think they're shocked because the people are going back to the theater quicker than they thought.
I'm not surprised that people did. One of my cousins is a manager of a restaurant. It was completely packed over the weekend. I didn't think it was going to, so I went, and he was busy the whole day. And this is in communist Minnesota, so it was everything was super strict and stupid, and all. Then the second it wasn't, it's wall to wall.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing it. Our restrictions lifted about 2 weeks ago here, and it's back to. It took like twice as long to get home today. Wall to wall traffic. The gym is wall to wall. Everybody's back. I was kind of like, oh, can we get another pandemic? Can we order one? More?
How about no? Let's have people live lives and stuff.
No, I know. I'm just joking because I got used to just going wherever I wanted, and now I've been kind of going out and living as normal as possible during this, and now everybody's back, and it's like shit.
Wait until everybody really has to go back full time and not work from home anymore.
Yeah,
I don't think that's going to happen.
Lose it.
That's not going to happen.
There's a lot of jobs that people can do from home, and they should have been doing. For 15 years. So
I could do my job from home, but I know my time is ending as far as being able to do that. I'm going to have to go back to the 9 to 5 grind. Oh well.
I mean, obviously there's things that they want you there in person, but for the most part, most things on a computer can be done on any computer.
Yeah.
Right. That's right.
Yep. Yeah, I have several large corporate clients, and they have Zoom event after Zoom event about Office of the Future, which is
I have no problem with Zoom. I love Zoom. Either. When someone's talking for like 45 minutes, all I do is hit mute, stop the camera. I go into the kitchen. I just put the speakers on, high volume, and I make breakfast and coffee. That's it. That's my Zoom meeting. I don't have to physically be there and just, shut up,
Mr. Tickle Trunk, those have been gone for almost 20 years now. Filed charges against who? It's they when did they lift those? 2003-ish? That's 2002. That
I knew it was around the turning of the.
Around the turning, the 2000.
The turn of the century.
Yeah.
Oh boy!
All right, now this is.
Oh my God! No.
I think this is total clickbait because I've seen that she wants to be in Star Trek. She wants to be in.
Yeah, I know.
She wants a job. That's all it is. They don't want to hire.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if you go to her YouTube channel, her views are plummeting. Like
she still has a YouTube channel.
Exactly.
She hasn't quit on it after a month.
Yeah, didn't you see the clips in the open video? I put her like laying on the couch watching TV.
Oh, that was recent? Oh my God.
Yeah. She put that up like last week. Like this is.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Enjoy the YouTube grind.
If you're cute, then it works. But honey, you ain't cute.
Well, I think the biggest problem here is they've announced the Captain Marvel 2 is not Captain Marvel 2.
Right.
It's the Marvels. And she's going to be sidelined in her own movie.
I hope to God.
So she's got to get the hell out of Marvel.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Quickly reinvent herself, right?
And
so
I hope she dies. I hope she dies in the first 15 minutes, please.
In a G.I. Joe 2.
Or Transformers the movie.
No, you're absolutely right. Now that that's happening, she's like looking to get into any other franchise.
Right.
And that's sad that she wants a franchise instead of just a job. Just get a fucking job.
Right. Well, she wants that big blockbuster paycheck. So this comes from Pirates and Princesses, and they say it right here. Captain Marvel seems to be on her way out at Marvel with the recent announcement that Captain Marvel 2 will now be called The Marvels, and it's been revealed that she will not be the main focus, but instead one of many, as Monica Rambeau and Kamala Khan are also confirmed to appear.
Weird.
Can't she just
spandex seemingly in jeopardy. She may try to exchange her tights for a Jedi robe.
Okay, but quick question. So what makes people think that she has the value to get how do I put this? It would be cheaper to hire someone from like a soap or a show or something like that than to hire her perhaps.
Because a couple of years Because a few years ago
So-
they filled her head with like she's now the face of.
No,
of
yeah,
Marvel.
but she's been like
That's
that
why.
her whole life. You can tell. Her parents live vicariously through her.
I mean, I think it's simple. I think she's got woke cred.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a lot.
So all the
So that-
wokesters will make noise, and Disney and KK will be like, "Oh my God, look at this groundswell."
But that also, if they're playing that character, then they have to acknowledge Luke Skywalker. And if Kennedy's still in has any semblance of power there, she doesn't want to do that.
That's a good point.
Edwin, you're spot on too, because she is like, the poster child for the woke thing. They love her. She's like,
yeah, they do.
So she's also been speculated to play High Republic Jedi Avar Chris in a rumored Star Wars High Republic TV show.
Mm-hmm.
High Republic. How you?
I don't.
Or Mara Jade. That's. Oh my God! Can you imagine?
It would be horrible. I mean, you talk about a down note, dude. We're
Just
on an up
hire
note
me.
now with Mandalorian. Just hire me.
Seriously, I'm a natural redhead, big boobs. Done.
Kate, you're hired.
It should get you. Yeah.
We'll make our own fan film. You're hired.
Yeah. And here she's interested in joining Star Trek, so it's I think that Mara Jade thing is total clickbait.
This one comes from Mikey Sutton. Mikey Sutton's spot on. Mikey Sutton doesn't print something.
She wants her dabble in everything. Now she wants to be in Star Trek.
She just wants to be one of them.
If she doesn't get any of these roles, she'll try to get into the new woke Pirates of the Caribbean one.
I know.
She'll just go from franchise to franchise until somebody hires her.
It's carpet bombing.
But in the first Pirates of the Caribbean, the lady pirate who played her, she did it for like 5 seconds, but she became successful.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, why don't they just make
Keira
it about
Knightley?
her? Yeah, whatever.
Oh yeah, Keira Knightley. Yep.
Yeah.
No, she's like
Oh.
the pirate, not Keira Knightley.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Johnny Depp.
No, the female.
No, it's a female pirate.
I've only seen the first one.
I don't think I've seen those though.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Well, there is one, and she speaks Vaughn, and which is relevant. But why not just hire that actress back and make a movie about her, like along the same timeline, or before or after, or whatever? But that would be relevant and fun, and not, easy
Not
to
Brie
make
Larson.
fun of. Yeah, not Brie Larson.
I can see her trying to fill all the Amber turd roles. Now that Amber's probably going to lose all the roles.
Oh, but that's perfect.
Next
They
week
can
will be
just
Brie
end up-
Larson wants to play Aquaman 2. What's
I think
Mira?
she'd be.
Mira.
I think she'd play a great Borg because she's got the personality of one. So that'd be a perfect casting
Oh, the
for
Borg
her.
Queen, yeah.
Right?
The Borg
Wouldn't that?
Queen.
She's just. That's perfect.
Leading
Go ahead.
role.
You play it. We'll stick all this fucking little stuff in your face, and you can just walk around and make I'm gonna
She
say
leads
Lego.
the Borg against the patriarchy of the Federation.
Nice.
Her leading role in Kong Skull Island. I didn't even know that was her.
Yeah, she was in that. She
Was she? I didn't even realize that
That's
was
why
her
the
either.
movie's watchable.
You're right.
No,
She
she's
got
Right, exactly.
and her MCU debut in Captain Marvel catapulted her to box office stardom. I'd pump the brakes on that statement.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Catapulted
So anyway,
her
she
into
wants to join,
another franchise.
The Scoop explained that our source says that Brie Larson is currently interested in playing some role in the Star Trek franchise. Exactly what role or project is unclear at this time, but it does look like she has shown some interest in the series. We don't know if her desire to be in the Star Trek franchise is something she wants for a long-term role, or if it would just be limited appearance in one of the many upcoming shows that will be canceled. It's worth assuming that an actress of Brie Larson's notoriety would not be popping in for just a minor role. So we assume she's angling for a lead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pass. Hard pass. Please don't do this.
I'm going through her whole catalog of movies here, and even before she was in Marvel movies, I never watched any of these. So
Yeah, it's weird stuff, and some she quote unquote produces, which I'm pretty sure is like her family fluffing things. Zoe Saldana, whatever.
Mhm.
She was in Pirates of the Caribbean, And she could totally have her own movie because she's been successful. She was what's her face Gormora, her. She could do it. That would be fun. But
Yeah.
no, we're gonna get, if they do it, which I doubt because I've been talking about it for 10 fucking years.
I think, you know, I saw that movie Just Mercy with Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx. She's in that.
Okay.
And again, I didn't recognize her till the movie was halfway through. I'm like, oh my God, that's Brie Larson. And she wasn't bad. So I think like with a good director and maybe in something like that, where it's kind of a melodrama, she's okay. She's adequate. But you put her in these genre things, she's a plank of freaking wood. I don't think she understands like how to act against green screen.
No.
I'm guessing that I don't think she has like an imagination because she just looks so uncomfortable as Captain Marvel. Like the whole movie, she just doesn't look like she wants to even freaking be there.
No.
Hey, Thomas Gilkey, hello. Justin Proper, hello. Of course, Glinzer, Mr. Lundell, everybody's in there tonight, so having some fun.
Hola.
Just in time for the story of the night.
There we go. Your favorite director, Keith.
Fucking hate this guy.
Tell us about it. Tell us about it.
I don't understand.
He stubs his foot. Fucking JJ.
He's so overrated.
Car won't start. Fucking JJ.
Not that bad. Stop. So he does this interview with Collider and admits to what all of us have been saying and thinking and knowing for 6 years now, is it?
Yeah.
Yep.
God, it's already been 6 years. That's sad.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to do something, right? What's he doing?
Oh, he's going to do Superman. He's going to ruin Superman now.
I know, but what's he been doing since Star Wars, really?
Plotting to destroy Superman.
Yep.
Exactly.
There you go.
We really need a plan to do a trilogy. Wow.
He admits that he didn't have a plan. So some of these statements in this Collider interview
shows in his movies.
He says, I've been involved in a number of projects that have been, in most cases, series that have ideas that begin the thing where you feel like you know where it's going to go. And sometimes it's an actor who comes in. Other times it's a relation. Holy God, this run-ons, like,
yeah.
I feel like I'm reading some millennial going, and then like, oh my God. And then this guy came in and he was like, oh my God, that would be awesome. And then it was kind of cool, but it didn't really work. But then we thought it was cool. But we tried something else and that didn't really work. But then we did
sound like
else.
a Val. That's
Doesn't
funny. Yeah.
It's as written doesn't quite work, and things you think are going to be so well received just crash and burn, and other things that you think like, oh, that's a small moment or that's a one episode character suddenly become hugely important part of the story. That's all one sentence.
Oh my God.
It's exhausting.
It's
I'm telling
crazy.
you. I feel like what I've learned as a lesson a few times now, and it's been something that especially in this pandemic year working with writers has become clear. The lesson is that you have to plan things as best you can. And you always need to be able to respond to the unexpected. And the unexpected can come in all sorts of forms. And I do think that there's nothing more important than knowing where you're going.
If only he would have done that in Lost.
To the most famous science fiction franchise of all time. Oops.
But George didn't have a plan.
Well, that's kind of true. But George had micro plans.
Yeah, he at least had some sort of idea where things were going.
Right.
But yeah, you think, JJ, you got handed a dump truck full of money to destroy a franchise.
Yeah. These are such loaded statements. There are projects I've worked on where we've had some ideas, but we hadn't worked through them enough.
Lost.
Yeah.
Sometimes we had some ideas, but then we weren't allowed to do them the way we wanted to. I've had all sorts of situations where you plan things in a certain way and you suddenly find yourself doing something that's 180 degrees different. And then sometimes it works really well and you feel like, wow, that really came together. And other times you think, oh my God, I can't believe this is where we are. And sometimes when it's not working out, it's because it's what you planned. And other times when it's not working out is because you didn't have a plan.
How to say something by saying nothing. This guy.
It's called pre-production, dummy. You just never really know. But having a plan, I have learned, in some cases the hard way, is the most critical thing. Because otherwise, you don't know what you're setting up. You don't know what to emphasize. Because if you don't know the inevitable of the story, you're just as good as your last sequence or effect or joke or whatever. But you want to be leading to something inevitable.
Yeah, but that goes against everything because Lost, he started this whole thing with Lost and then he just walked away. And then, of course, no one knew what to do with the show. They had some great things going, like what's this, what's that, what's the smoke monster, what's in the hatch, and then the whole series just fell apart. He hadn't had a plan.
Thank you, Damon Lindelof.
Yeah, he just came up with the idea for all this cool stuff, and then they asked him, "Well, what is this cool stuff?" He's like, "I don't fucking know. Just run with it." Like, and then the show ended up falling flat on its face because of that problem.
Yeah,
because the smoke monster wasn't a big deal. The hatch, there was key things that people thought were going to turn out to be this crazy conspiracy. Like, oh, I know why this is doing it, and there was no. It was just
he doesn't have a plan, and he doesn't know how to end things. He'll come up with a concept of a story and then walk away.
He can't even end his sentences.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's
you suckers figure it out.
Yeah.
Aliens come down. They take over the world. Okay.
All
What's
right.
next? I don't know. You
go.
figure it out.
And that
Your
was
turn.
What?
fine. Like I call him Dollar Tree Spielberg because he's got that like boyish, like the Spielberg. You could tell that's who he's emulating, but he doesn't have Spielberg's gift at all.
And he gets paid how much money to do this?
All of it.
Yeah. I mean, come on. He was supposed to be the Lord and Savior. Here's the thing. When he was making those Star Trek movies, he was going on talk show after talk show talking about how he doesn't even like Star Trek or watch Star Trek. Right?
Yeah.
What he really loves is Star Wars. So they hand him Star Wars. You think, okay, it's in his wheelhouse. Except no. It's just, and I don't really fault him for the third one, though, because
nobody could have fixed it.
Kathleen Kennedy bears a lot of responsibility for this, too, because if JJ did the first one, they're supposed to take everything he set up and continue those stories. In the second one, they just ripped everything down. They tore it apart. So, the whole Force Awakens, the hunt for the lightsaber was a huge thing. And then in the Last Jedi, he throws it over his shoulder and walks away.
I know.
Thank you, Mr. Not what you expect.
And I think he did the same thing with
Mr. Londelli. Go ahead.
He did the same thing with Force Awakens. He basically just left it open for interpretation for someone else to come in and finish his story. And of course, we all know how that ended. It ended like shit.
But the producers and Kathleen Kennedy, who's head of Lucasfilm, should have had an overarching plan, no matter who was directing any of these movies.
Yeah. That's right.
So, JJ bears a lot of the responsibility too, because he was there at the ground floor, and he probably should have helped with the roadmap. And if he wanted to walk away, that's fine. But they should have, mapped it out on the whiteboard, but they did not.
Right.
And,
it's not cohesive. There's no, you can't have one guy sort of halfway there and then say, well, someone else hand off the baton. It's not, but you can't do that.
They could if the producers did their job.
Right.
But boy, did they check off all the boxes.
Because that third movie is a joke. It's so bad. And this is kind of funny. I saw this today. Did you guys see this?
No.
So this Ninth Circuit Court Judge Kenneth K. Lee calls The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker mediocre and schlocky in a ConAgra ruling. So he was ruling in this lawsuit against ConAgra Foods. So on the 25th and 26th pages of the ruling, Lee wrote, under settlement, ConAgra agreed to refrain from marketing Wesson oil as 100% natural. That sounds great, except ConAgra already abandoned the strategy in 2017, 2 years before the parties hammered out their agreement, for reasons, as it claims, that were unrelated to this or any other litigation. He continued, even worse, ConAgra's promise not to use the phrase 100% natural on Wesson oil appears meaningless because ConAgra no longer owns Wesson oil. In this reality, this promise is about as meaningful and as enduring as a proposal in the final rose ceremony on The Bachelor. Simply put, Richardson, the new owner of Wesson Oil, can resume using the 100% natural label anytime it wishes, thereby depriving the class of any value theoretically afforded by the injunction. ConAgra thus essentially agreed not to do something over which it lacks the power to do, Lee added. The judge then made a comparison to the 2 Star Wars sequel trilogy films produced by Disney. He wrote, that is like George Lucas promising no more mediocre and schlocky Star Wars sequels shortly after selling the franchise to Disney. Such promise would be illusory.
Nice.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that is a good dig right there. That's a good one.
So that's where the Star Wars sequel trilogy lands. They're going to be infamous for schlock and joke.
Yep, forever and ever until they make another awful trilogy by Ron Head.
It's the Ronco Star Wars trilogy. Yeah.
All right, guys. Actually, I got to get going. But
Okay,
thank you so much for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
And before you go, one last time, I'm going to bring up your page here, and you can, I guess, you could promote the next one, right? Because this one's closed.
Oh no, this one's still going. It won't close until later in the year. Yep. So, like I said, we're slowly starting to ship out a couple of packages. I think I've sent out about 20 so far. Little by little, we'll get them out to people. But yeah, you can go check it out. It's a throwback to a lot of the early 90s comics that I grew up on. I just saw Marvel celebrating the 30th anniversary of Darkhawk by replacing him with another minority character nobody will be interested in 6 months from now. So this is, kind of bringing those classic comics that the big two have completely forgotten about and no longer make. And this is the start of a whole new universe. Like I said, I plan on making several of these. Me and Canales are going to start working on the second one in a couple of weeks. And it's just a fun kind of classic, superhero story about a young guy trying to figure out his place in the world. It's got a lot of fun, armored guy facing the giant shark guy, but it's also got some heart and some story underneath it all. So go check it out on Indiegogo. It's the Ace Volume 1.
I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait to get my copy. I will put the link to this in the show notes. I think it's already actually there. If not, I'll make sure I do. And so if anybody wants to get in Volume 1 and then be ready for Volume 2 when Edwin gets to it. One last question for you, Edwin. Are you going to be at Terrifica?
I will not this year.
Oh,
yeah, I know. Breaks my heart. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of fun stuff going on, but yeah, sadly not this year. Maybe next year.
Well, we got to hook up at one of these Comic Cons. Let me know when you're going to be in the area for sure.
Yeah, man,
we don't
definitely.
know each other. So.
Oh my God, we can go back to Comic Cons now.
I'm so excited about it.
I know.
I know.
All
right, my friend, you are welcome back anytime, and definitely keep in touch. I'm really happy for you.
No, thank you, man. Hell of a chat. You guys rock.
Awesome. Catch you later, Edwin.
Very cool.
Yeah, it is. He's great. So, all right. Where were we? Oh, here we were. Speaking of comic books and failures.
Oh.
Did you put this story in here, Edson?
I think, yeah, it was for last week. Yeah.
It was from last week.
Yep, that was it. Yep.
Yeah. So John Trent bounding into comics. Kevin Feige says some interesting things in here.
Yeah.
He's kind of not really wrong, but at the same time, there's an injustice here. And I agree when he says like nobody really knew who Blade was, and became a big hit and all this.
Or Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Right.
But he also says that they proved that it wasn't that it didn't matter what was in the comics, but when the X-Men movies did well, the X-Men franchise was like top in Marvel comics like for a long time. So that kind of contradicts him in a way.
But, Iron Man wasn't exactly an A-list superhero when that movie came out either.
Well, that's true. The part that I find interesting is here. Once we finish what we now call the Infinity Saga, we rolled up our sleeves and said, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
What are we going to kick off next? The next sort of evolution of the MCU post our first big saga, and that's why Shang-Chi was at the top of that list.
Why?
Yeah, that wouldn't have been my pick.
Because Shang-Chi is a fairly obscure character. The studio can rewrite and modernize his story in ways that would be far less noticeable than updating more widely known stories like those of Captain America, Spider-Man, or the Incredible Hulk.
Yep.
Feige also would indicate Shang-Chi received top billing because he appeals to China.
Which they already said the Chinese audience probably will not like this movie.
It's not
exactly.
It's not going to play in China.
Right.
It's banned. So, oops, face plant. So, and then he went on to say that the Eternals were picked. The notion of switching up genders, sexualities, and ethnicities of characters from the comics was baked in initially. That was part of what Nate Moore was really advocating for in moving Eternals to the top of the list for us to start working on. So he's saying the quiet parts out loud.
Yep.
I always thought the Eternals was pretty much a homage to Jack Kirby. I mean, I always felt like That's the only thing. That's the only reason why they would release a movie like that, right?
This looks nothing like Jack Kirby's comic.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know if somebody said, well, we got to do something by Jack Kirby. And
right here. No, he told you right here. Why?
Oh, that's not why.
Because they wanted to switch up gender, sexualized ethnicities.
Right.
That's why they moved it to the top of the list to do that. So he's basically saying this is why they pick these like Z-list characters from Marvel, because they're like, well, if nobody knows who they are, we can just wreck them.
Yeah, we're not going to get this big blowback where people
Right.
really love this character.
I mean, they kind of did do that with Iron Man, technically, because he's supposed to be an alcoholic womanizer, and they toned that down drastically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So they've already been doing it. Maybe for the quote-unquote better, but...
Oh, their Spider-Man isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's... Yeah, I know. Spider-Man's my favorite, and I like Toby. But then the third one is a disaster, and then it was for me when I'm like, what was it? I must have been like the when was Cavill casted for Superman? What
That
year?
was 2013-ish.
Yeah. See, by then I was done. I was so done with everything.
Yeah.
My brother told me about that, and he was super excited because he's played WoW since vanilla. So the fact that someone like him was playing a Superman was interesting, and I just not interested. I've been just kind of on the outskirts observing the shit show for a long time now.
I agree. I could care less about Phase 4. I'm gonna skip almost all these movies. I could care less.
I still want to see Doctor
too.
Strange. I've been a Doctor Strange fan for a while.
Doctor Strange will be okay. I mean, and you
Right.
know, Thor 4 is gonna suck. Come on.
Yeah, that's weird. They're just picking all the stuff made in the last 10 years instead of just making a congruent story.
Stuff that
which
failed
should be
miserably.
easy. Yeah, it will.
Yeah, absolutely miserable. Yeah, Kevin Feige, I think, has definitely bought into reading his own press, and he's lost his way completely. He almost sounds like he's in a cult now. You know, the way
Maybe you should move over to DC. They could do something over there.
Maybe. So the China thing really kind of went off the rails this week. Did you guys see this?
Yep.
I didn't see anything. Sorry.
This if you watch,
I know they made my crypto go down.
Look at that poster. Like how
that's
photoshoppy is that?
Yeah.
Is that Cena?
That looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger from the 80s with shades.
Is that John Cena?
It is.
Yes, it is.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
it's just a blue car. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my god! He looks weird.
He apologizes in Chinese. I'll play a little bit of this.
你操作过就是叫希娜，我必须说现在在
I love how the subtitles in Chinese.
Yeah. I thought it was the one with the English subtitles.
What's he saying?
He says, I should credit the author of this article, by the way. It's John Trent. He basically says, hi, China, I'm John Cena. I'm in the middle of Fast and the Furious 9 promotions. I'm doing a lot of interviews. I made a mistake in one of my interviews. Everyone was asking me if I could use Chinese. Movie staff gave me a lot of information, so there's a lot of interviews and information. I made one mistake. I have to say something very, very important now. I love and respect China and the Chinese people. I'm very, very sorry about my mistake. He continued profusely apologizing. I apologize. I'm very sorry. You must understand that I really love, really respect China and the Chinese people. My apologies. See you. So what happened was he was doing an interview and he acknowledged that Taiwan is its own country. He called Taiwan. He said something about, oh, it's successful in Taiwan too, like China and Taiwan.
Which it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but China is trying to take it back, and they don't want to hear that. So, you could almost see the Disney pitchforks in this dude's back. You know what I mean? Like,
is Fast and Furious Disney?
Huh?
Is Fast and the Furious Disney?
It might be now.
I think it is. Oh no, it's Universal. Who owns them? I can't keep track.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's Apple, or is it Microsoft? Microsoft Universal Studios. I don't know.
Either way, somebody who has a very important stake in the Chinese market.
Wes says hi, Kate. Yeah. Anyway,
Hello.
this is the Hollywood. You could just see the pitchforks in his back, right? I actually, when I saw this, I felt bad because I'm like, there's no way he did this on his own. I mean, they're basically telling him, if you want blockbuster money, like do this or your career's over.
So you think his agent was on his ass?
Oh no, not his agent. The studio. Do this or you're done.
Okay,
Now,
but I've also heard that he is fluent in Mandarin and has been for a while, so he has some dealings with China outside of these movies.
well, probably from his career as a fighter and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And not a lot of them are chummy with China. In fact, a lot of pro wrestlers, regardless of the brand they're under, are much more aligned with our worldview than this worldview.
It's really it's amazing though, because you're seeing more and more of this bending a knee to China stuff, right? Because they want that they want the money. It's kind of spooky to me.
Well, it's a lot of people in China. That's a lot of money.
See, when you see a guy like John Cena doing this, like just completely bending over. And like begging, it's like he's begging for his life. Please, 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 with sugar on top, forgive me.
But I mean,
like, he's got plenty of FU money. He doesn't really need to make these movies anymore. But let's face it, when you're at this level and you're doing blockbuster after blockbuster and you're cashing blockbuster checks, you don't want to go make independent films for Ben Shapiro, right?
Yeah, exactly. Plus, you know, they're talking about what's his character's name? Peacemaker.
Yeah.
His Peacemaker TV series. So he's got a lot riding on this.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Hey, Wes. Thank you, Wes.
Hello, Wes.
Hey, what's up?
Right, exactly, Pete. Like that's it's apologize or your career's over.
Exactly.
And you know, we've had Cameron on here, and you've seen Cameron on other channels. What is Cameron always talking about? These people are terrified of being done.
Yeah, but aren't you worried about being a sellout to your American fans? Because that pretty much.
No, they don't care. First of all, they don't respect. Do you think they have any respect for the audience after what we've seen over the last 6 years?
Exactly.
Of creatives and studios and actors, and they're all attacking the people who actually pay for their products. They don't give a shit, and they make more money off the China market. The China market's more important than the U.S. domestic. Trust me. PJ is in the house. PJ, look, PJ.
I was just gonna ask, did you put your order in for The Prisoner?
Yeah,
for the pre-orders.
I got them. I got the number 6 with the rover.
That's awesome.
I've got the regular number 6 that I can leave the back, because it's the same one that comes in the rover, and then I got the arrival number 6. So I got three.
You went nuts.
I went crazy.
Yeah. I can't wait to see them to come over.
Well, they're not coming in until late 2022, so it's gonna be a while. But I can't wait to see those. So the China stories just keep coming fast and furious. See what I did there, because it was fast. See that? See that? I'm a professional. Hollywood media turns on Disney, exposes their China agenda.
I can't see. There's a thing in my face. I can't see nothing.
I'm sorry.
There we go. I can. Oh, look at this. Hollywood media turns on Disney. I can see it now.
Dad, he loves my little ship.
Is that what they're calling it? The China agenda.
The China agenda.
Oh my God.
A Hollywood distorter might be sensing a shift in the tide as they readily expose Disney's China agenda in a very lengthy article discussing the relationship between Hollywood and China. This is by John F. Trent. Again, this is like John F. Trent night. The article written by Patrick and Tatiana
Brzezinski
opens up with outing Disney's China agenda by publishing a part of an email sent to members of the press instructing them to describe Nomadland director Chloe Zhao as Chinese or a Chinese national. According to the Hollywood Distorter, A Disney executive emailed, "Please note in your ongoing coverage of Nomadland that Chloe Zhao is a Chinese filmmaker." The executive added, "You may accurately refer to her as Chinese or Chinese national." And this apparently isn't the first time they had done so. Bresky and Siegel claim for months the studio's been making clandestine efforts to avoid agitating the Chinese Communist Party when it came to Zhao. In fact, they report that sources tell them that a Disney publicist through Searchlight persuaded the small New York-based filmmaker magazine to remove a quote from a 2013 Zhao profile in which the budding auteur explained the inspiration for her first feature film, Songs My Brother Taught Me. The quote in question read, "It goes back to when I was a teenager in China, being in a place where there are lies everywhere."
Ooh.
She added, "You felt like you were never going to be able to get out. A lot of info I received when I was younger was not true, and I became very rebellious toward my family and my background. I went to England suddenly and relearned my history. Studying political science in a liberal arts college was a way for me to figure out what is real. Arm yourself with information and then challenge that too." Like most of them during the coup. That quote led to immense backlash among Chinese social media users, so much so that the Chinese Communist Party banned the Oscars due to Zhao's comments. Not only did they ban the Oscars, but they also scrubbed Zhao's victory from Chinese social media websites and the Chinese-controlled internet. The Wall Street Journal reported 2 state media reporters told Wall Street Journal that they had received orders from China's propaganda ministry not to report on Ms. Zhao's victory, despite what they described as her status as a Chinese national because of previous public opinion. But it's not just the Oscars where Zhao is facing backlash. There's a report from Variety that Zhao's upcoming Eternals movie may get banned from China after the movie was left off of a CCTV6 China movie channel listing of upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 4 films. Both Eternals and Shang-Chi were left off the list. They did include release dates for 8 other MCU films, though. Variety's Rebecca Davis explained the omission might seem small, but its significance lies in its provenance. The channel is under the jurisdiction of China's powerful propaganda department, which has the final word on film approval. If the film is banned from China, it would mean a huge loss in the box office gross for Disney. For example, according to the numbers, Avengers Endgame earned $629 million in China alone. Infinity War earned $359, Captain Marvel earned $153.8, Black Panther brought in $104, Ant-Man and the Wasp grossed $120.7, Spider-Man Far From Home $205.4 million. That means the last 6 Marvel Cinematic Universe films released in China grossed $1.572 billion.
That's a nice number.
Lose possibly over $100 million grossing film, but Disney also has to cater to China because of their park business.
That's right.
Hollywood Distorter claims Disney never weighed in on Hong Kong nor the substance of the situation in Xinjiang. But if it had, precedent dictates that the lights inside the Magic Kingdom at its vastly larger and more lucrative Shanghai Disney resort would probably have gone dark instantly. But as Hollywood Distorter notes, the risk comes with cooperating with the communist Chinese. In fact, Disney is probably lucky they still have parks under their control that are located in China.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the same. They could snap their finger and everything can go bye-bye. And that's the difference. I mean, they did the same thing. I was jokingly
when you make content for China.
Yeah. I was jokingly saying that my crypto went down because China actually started banning Bitcoin and Litecoin and all these other cryptocurrencies in their country because they just felt like, well, no, we want to release our own, and you can't do any transactions within China dealing with crypto. It's against the law or something. That's it. It affected the whole market. It was crazy. So I lost like $400.
Well, that's not that much.
No, it's not that much, but still.
So, yeah, I get what you mean.
Glens are on fire.
It seems like it should have been more, but maybe they just weren't that into it in the first place. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I get your point.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's easy. They could just go pop and everything ends. It's just like
they have ultimate control. It's really disturbing. They are the Soviet dream.
Yep. And continuing the story, straight to the Hollywood Distorter this time. China box office. F9 falls 85% amid weak reviews and John Cena controversy. Oops.
Oopsie doodles.
Chinese filmgoers have hit the brakes on Justin Lin's F9. The Universal tentpole downshifted Look at these car puns. 85% in its second weekend, earning just 20.8 million compared to its 136 million roaring opening weekend. After 2 laps, the Vin Diesel John Cena action flick has totaled 185.3 million. That's slightly ahead of where franchise spin-off Hobbs and Shaw was sitting at a similar point as China Run, but far weaker than the preceding franchise mainstays Furious 7 and Fate of the Furious, which topped out at 390.9 million in 2015 and 392.8 million in 2017, respectively.
I got a question for this panel. Has anybody here seen the Fast and Furious movie or actually watched all 7 of them?
No.
No.
So where are these? I mean, I always
That
wonder
sound
where
like
the
pretty awesome numbers, and I would suspect that it'd be big the first weekend and then drastically drop off because everyone who wants to see
isn't
it
that
would
typical?
see it.
This kind of reminds me of Sharknado. Like you see Sharknado on Netflix, and there's like Sharknado 7, 8, 9. You're like, who the fuck is keeping this alive? Like, is there actually a fan base with this?
Apparently, I mean, it's only the last sequel that doesn't make money.
So the plot thickens a little bit because you might say, oh well, don't forget pandemic. Hold on to your seats. Chinese ticketing app Maoyan currently projects F9 to finish at 211.9 million. Certainly not a number to scoff at, but far inferior to the franchise's recent heights, especially since China's theatrical market is back to full earning capacity.
Yeah, interesting.
See the 825 million earned by local comedy hit Hi Mom in February. Whether John Cena's humiliating Taiwan-China gaffe has anything to do with F9's weak legs in the Middle Kingdom is difficult to determine. The Chinese market tends to be far more front-loaded and sensitive to real-time word-of-mouth than most territories, and F9 has been hit by withering reviews from the start. Its social scores are 7.5 on Maoyan and 5.5 on Duban, lower than most major titles released this year. I mean, it could be that it just sucks. Like Kate said, everybody went to see it and went, that sucks.
Yeah, that sucks. So they're not going to go back. Yep.
But it could also be they could have reacted to John Cena and been like, fuck that guy. Who knows?
Yeah, your apology wasn't good enough.
Right. Just another week at the Chinese box office, gang. This one, though.
I just realized, Keith, you have this like Motorhead thing going on. You got a Lemmy thing going on.
It's all gray right here.
Yeah, you shaved the bottom and left the like.
It's not.
It looks like
he's just blonde.
Doesn't he look like
my fellow hair minority?
Kate came to my rescue. It's gray, actually. It turned.
Is it? Oh. I thought you were casting for like the new Lemmy movie or something.
See, it's gray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fellow gray.
It does look like you got the handlebar thing going on.
It does. I know. I'm gonna have to get the
just for men.
Yeah, Glinzer's on fire tonight. Cena hit the F9 button on his computer in a Chinese.
Nice.
It says shark soup NATO for China. Yeah, right. Edson, this story popped up. When did I see it? Yesterday. Yes.
Is this the Tahiti Coates thing?
Yes. I'm shocked by this because
so am I.
He's
like,
he's 100.
Right. I'm like, where's the other part of it?
I'm in the Twilight Zone. I'm like, just go full handlebars. I don't know. Mr. Tickle Trunk is. I don't know.
I think you should.
I mean, we already see it happening, so you might as well give it a try.
Should I do Wolverine chops instead?
No, you gotta have the.
What Jay does with the wax mustache. Yeah, exactly.
So, a broken clock is right twice a day. Ta-Nehisi Coates, I can't believe this. Because he's said some vile and written some vile stuff in the past. And not only, well, we'll get into this, but not only is he right, but he's
accidentally right, though, because he isn't one of those creators who also treats people like crap.
Yes.
So the fact that they get treated like crap, it just kind of goes down. It's like in generic retail. If the manager's a dick, the team lead's a dick, the associates are dicks. That's just the way it goes.
Right. But he's an activist who has no business writing comics for the most part. And he kind of even says that in here, which is
right.
I was reading this and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. What happened?
Is there hope? their hope. Ta-Nehisi Coates recently called out Marvel Comics as well as Marvel Studios for the way they treat comic book creators. Now, he kind of says, how many times have I said this, Edson? Like when you're at a big convention and they've got Chris Evans there.
Yep.
Nowhere do they say, without those guys in the artist alley, I'm nobody. Like this doesn't happen. Go over there and meet the creators of this stuff. They never cross promote. Not only that, at the height of the MCU popularity, their comics on the shelf didn't look anything like the movies. Thor was a girl, Hulk was Asian. Like you go in the store, you're like, oh, I want Iron Man. Well, it's that girl, Ironheart. Iron Man's gone. They had no symmetry whatsoever, right? In a lengthy interview discussing his final issue of Black Panther with Polygon, Coates made it clear that the corporate side of Marvel is not pretty. Go figure, it's Disney.
No.
While discussing how Marvel was unable to convert Black Panther filmgoers into comic book readers, Coates turned the conversation toward a critique of Marvel Comics. He stated, I'm not even so much talking about the writing. I'm talking about the marketing. I wish that more had been done on that level. Can I say something else too? This is amazing. I can't believe this dude. I'm not talking about myself here because I feel like I'm somebody who's fortunate in the sense that I've been able to make a living in all kinds of other ways. But there are people who make their living off of comic books. And I wish that Marvel found better ways to compensate the creators who helped make Black Panther, Black Panther. I wish they found better ways to compensate the folks who made Captain America, Captain America, Coates stated. He elaborated, I'm talking very specifically here. I wish they found ways to compensate the author of the greatest Winter Soldier stories that you're ever going to read. I don't love that there's a Falcon and Winter Soldier show on TV, and I'm hearing from Ed Brubaker that he can't even get in contact with XYZ at Marvel. I just don't love that. I don't love that. Coates added, look, I had a great time. I had a tremendous time writing for Marvel. I'm indebted to Marvel. I love my editors, Will, Tom, Alana, Sarah, Martin, Chris. I had great people working with me. He then turned his ire on the corporate side of Marvel Comics, which is owned by Disney. The corporate side of this, though, is not pretty. It's not pretty at all. How you treat people who create the basis for this, I don't love it. Coates continued to critique Marvel Comics, and so you can start from a position of not what my contract says, but what is right and how I would want to be treated. And again, not to go off, but I know specifically with Ed, I mean, look, the 3 Captain America films are, to me, like they are probably short of Black Panther, my favorite Marvel films. Frankly, when we start talking about sci-fi, genre movies and all of that, one of my favorite trilogies. I mean, it's just really great, consistent quality. But I also know what's at the root of that, he said. And I know, reading Ed's take, how good he was for Bucky and how much pathos and sadness. And look, I just talked about how I don't like killing characters. I'm sorry I'm going on this rant. I know we're supposed to be talking about the Black Panther. Coates then shared his love for the death of Captain America. The death of Captain America is one of the greatest stories I've ever read. I'm talking about the volumes. It's fucking incredible, ridiculously good. He continued, when I was going on Captain America, I thought about that. I was like, if I could get anywhere near this, I might have done something. I didn't, by the way. Like, yeah, right. You wrote trash Captain America. It was awful. And he admits it. Coates then
Next you'll be saying that Star Wars didn't have a plan.
Right.
Yeah.
He returned to critique Marvel for the way they treat creators, but to have that and have him bleed into that book, and to have Steve Epting bleed into that book the way he did, to see folks making billions over top of billions, and for my man to say he can't get a phone call returned, he concluded, I don't know what the relationship will be like in the future, but as a creator, you think about that. You think about how people treat other people. You think about how corporations treat other people, and I just don't love it, dude.
I think maybe he's been tuning into Eric July. Or ripping him a new one.
Right?
Like, no, I agree with everything he said. I just I wonder about the timing. I mean, he just ended his stay with Disney, and now he's moving on. So now it's time to
take shots.
Take shots, right?
Take
I mean,
shots
where were you when you were there? I mean, it's like
right. No, of course, it's always easier to criticize when you're safe, right?
Right, but
now he's over at DC, and now he's going to be one of those people who are forgetting about the comics.
Right. I mean, there's some people that don't like their boss, but when they're working under them, they're not going to say anything until they leave.
Yeah, but
so I mean, that's why.
Well, this guy didn't care. Yeah.
This guy's
Right.
He's not a good guy. He's not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if he had a problem with someone, he'd say something because he has so much nice fluffy cushions to fall on. Like he mentioned, wouldn't matter. If the question is this a quote unquote come to Jesus moment, or is he just pandering to make sure and keep a job and be the nice guy when he's not a fucking nice guy?
Well, what's interesting, Kate, he's moving over to DC and Warner now. He's writing the new Superman movie, right? So
Right, yeah. And it's
I don't know if it would really ingratiate him with Disney to take shots at Marvel because it's like, the same thing.
Mhm.
I wonder if he's just had a come to Jesus, not a full one,
right, like halfway there.
halfway there, because I think what it is it hit him personally because he's really good friends with Ed Brubaker, and he's seeing how Ed Brubaker he's getting shit on while they exploit his properties, right?
Right.
And the rest of the article recapped. We covered the Ed Brubaker thing about a month and a half ago. Right. Ed Brubaker's like, really pissed because, he gets stopped all the time and asked about the movies and the shows, and he's like, I have nothing to do with that, and they don't care. It sucks. It sucks. And, I'm friends with a lot of comic book writers and artists from yesteryear, from the great years, and yeah, they're not happy with the way these things are going down.
Well, times were different then, anyway.
And they get all excited to see their name in the credits. That's how sad it kind of is.
Yeah.
Those billions upon billions wouldn't exist if longtime fans hadn't supported comics long before that. That's just it. That's just
exactly.
It. And this is why Phase 4 was failed, because they're picking the wrong comics to adapt now.
Right,
have any of y'all? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Have any of y'all seen the Ditko documentary from like 13 years ago?
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, getting the appropriate compensation in these niches is a long thing that just may never happen.
No, it won't. Because these giant corporations don't give a crap about.
Well, it's not even giant corporation. I mean, in that documentary, it was going on between friends.
That's true.
Between Stan Lee and Ditko.
Yeah.
Because Stan Lee wouldn't admit that he was a co-creator.
He did, but like not to the extent that he deserved. And I totally get where he was coming from. And it's one of those things where if you're going to be working with someone, you best make sure and have a contract up front. If you're going to be creating something on your own, you better have no intention to sell it. Not anymore.
Well, that's the problem. These guys were all work for hire. They knew, like, when you work for Marvel or DC, whatever you do belongs to them.
But what's really funny, I mean, what's really fun. What's really funny is when you do read the first early Amazing Spider-Man comics, you definitely feel Ditko. I don't. When I read it, I don't think Stan Lee. I feel like this is completely Ditko, even though Stan Lee wrote in the bubbles, pretty much, right?
Yeah, well, the way they used to work, they called it the Marvel way. Like, Stan would have an outline, give it to the artist. The artist would draw the story the way they saw it based on the outline, and then he'd take it back and put in the words. So yeah, the artist Jack Kirby and Ditko and like Bill Everett, like those guys had free reign to do whatever they wanted. And I think it caused tension because when it came down to it, Stan was the one that got all the accolades, right? Everyone knew Stan. So, we're doing a documentary on Charlton Comics, Kate, and my co-producer Jackie went down to Steve Ditko's apartment and tried to get him to be in it because he was a big part of Charlton Comics. And he considered it briefly, but then he wrote us he wrote it in pencil back, and he's like, fuck off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's Randian, right? He's Ayn
Rand.
Yeah.
I get that. I totally.
And he was basically like, I don't want to go look in the past. What's the point? It was his
Yep. He's legitimate objectivist, and it's very fascinating that I grew up with that and related to that, and then as a young adult, found out who Ayn Rand was, and was like, wow, my life is going full circle.
And I get that, but he loved Charlton so much that he considered it for a couple seconds anyway.
Yeah, but he got to do whatever he wanted when he was at Charlton. They let him do complete free reign, as opposed to Marvel. He had to deal with Stan.
Right, and that's why characters like Mr. A and the Question are like based on Ayn Rand's work. So
right, and
I do think it would be fascinating to have like the Fountainhead, because it's way more palatable, be a more contemporary graphic novel of some kind, or really anything. Just the story. You could even just keep the names, but obviously the themes may have to be slightly different. But
Right.
but the story could be worth reiterating.
Yeah, I agree.
And we talked about this before, Keith, but especially on the last 10 years, the best stories that are coming out are the ones that are independent, where they're allowed to create their own story and outside of Marvel and Disney. And I could give you, dozens of examples of much better independent created stories.
Or like what Edwin is doing, all the crowdfunded stuff.
Well,
I mean, look at EVS.
That includes
Yeah,
that, right?
that's
It's just the issue, right? The issue is that you're self-promoting against the big giant, and that's
No.
the hard part.
They've been
No,
pretty
no, no,
successful,
because
yeah.
most comic book people and most people who read comics regularly, who go to the comic shop every Wednesday, know the big two are like on life support.
Yep.
Yeah, I know that, but for a casual reader, what I'm talking about, like everybody,
Casual readers don't go into the comic shop every Wednesday, bro. They
That's
just
true.
don't.
Yeah, you're
In
right.
fact, we have a story coming up that kind of addresses that.
It's interesting to see this the do-it-yourself mentality. You know what I mean? It's definitely working.
appreciate it. I
And it's
appreciate it very much.
Right, and it's very reminiscent to music back in the day too. Like
Mhm.
I know Kiss is a huge. Keith's the biggest Kiss fan here, I think. And Kiss had that whole DIY attitude where that's how they got so popular. They went to every single show, whether there was only 3 people watching them, as if it was like they were at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And I love that passion, and and I hope
And it was also a lot of word of mouth versus going to the store, which has obviously been very helpful.
Right.
So, I mean, the fact that there's people out there is like, yeah, I just started this thing and I actually have this as a day job, and then someone who has clout, and I know everyone's starting to hate that word, but has a resume like Ethan Van Sciver, and he's like, yeah, that's really impressive. Good luck. That's a huge thing for them, I would hope.
Yeah, absolutely. There's my comic shop sells out of his store one of these crowdfunded comics done by guys around here, and he said the 4th issue outsold Batman.
Wow,
That's incredible.
Wow,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't help that Batman's slipping, right?
Yep. It is.
Speaking of that, Chris Rock says
Yeah.
cancel culture creates unfunny and boring comedy
Yeah.
content.
This is like he said this before. This is like another story, but yeah.
Well, this is from May 21st, but we didn't have a show last week.
Mhm.
He's just on. He's piggyback. How many times have we heard this now? What's
Oh,
his
yeah.
face? Donald Glover said the same thing. We're seeing it from more and more people.
Because
So
they're
yeah.
pivoting.
Right. But comedians are the only ones that can get away with saying things that, are insulting. And I mean, that's the whole part of their act.
Certain types of
Without, well,
Mm-hmm.
you watch anything, even the classics, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Raw, it's still pretty bad from back in the day.
Yeah,
that's what made them so popular and funny. You know?
who I wish never died was George Carlin, because George
Yes.
Carlin would
Mhm.
eat wokies.
But he was also old.
No, I know, but if I'm saying if he was
I know.
in prime now, he'd eat these
Oh,
wokies for
God.
lunch. He'd eat
Yeah.
them.
He
Comedian-
literally warned of this stuff.
Yeah, there's plenty of bits where he warns of this stuff, like from 1985.
Yeah, that was the origins of PC, and now it
Yeah.
just has a new name.
Yeah, and the weird part is, I was on a stream the other night with Grimm, and Grimm says, the weird part is, it used to be the evangelicals. The right was the ones, and now it's weird. It's the hippies. that have become-
Well, no, they're all progs. They're all progressives. They don't like individualism. They want to have their collectivism. It doesn't matter if it's Tipper Gore, if it's an evangelical. It doesn't matter whoever the fuck's doing it now. They're all just progs.
Yeah, you're right. So he says, cancel culture has led to unfunny and boring material from comedians. Cancel culture is a term used to describe the mass shaming, just in case our audience doesn't know what it is, the mass shaming or condemnation of individuals, often celebrities, who have done or said something that has been construed as offensive. It's weird when you're a comedian, because when you're a comedian, when the audience doesn't laugh, we get the message. You don't really have to cancel us because we got the message. You're not laughing, said former Saturday Night Live star. Our feelings hurt when we do something and people aren't laughing. We get it. I don't understand why people feel the need to go beyond that. You know what I mean? He continued. honestly, to me, it's disrespect. It's people disrespecting the audience. Like, oh, you think you know more than the audience? The audience knows more than everybody. Okay, you know, yeah, you know. But hey, some things don't need to be said.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I
Everyone's
fully
scared
agree
to
with
make
that.
a move, said Rock. It's not a place to be. You know, we should have the right to fail because failure is part of art. And he's absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just one. They're starting to. It's almost every week we get somebody else jumping out and saying this stuff, who's kind of mainstream, which is good to see. Because I think we've had enough. And of course, we still get the LeVar Burtons who say everyone should pay the consequence for what they say. And you have Seth Rogen saying the same thing. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Has
they
Seth
have
Rogen ever been funny?
They're calling it like accountability culture or consequence culture, like LeVar Burton and Seth Rogen and these
Yeah,
guys.
because they need to change. It's rules for radicals. They don't know that's what it is, but that's what it is.
Well, they're
And
NPCs too. They're just
that I know.
downloading
But-
their instructions and yeah.
Yep. But it's a great case to bring back Celebrity Deathmatch and pit these against each other. That'd be hilarious.
I agree. We were talking about that the other night too. How the what was the boxers? Oh, I was talking to a friend of mine last night. We were talking about when Screech boxed Ron Palillo from Welcome Back, Kotter.
Oh my God!
They should bring that back. You know, Screech beat the snot out of him. Yeah, Progress is pushing us backwards. The irony. I know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's the whole thing with comedy. Comedy is supposed to be shocking, I think. I mean, it's not funny if it's not, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Comedians are going to say something that's going to make you uncomfortable. That's the whole point.
Exactly.
So it makes it funny.
So this woman.
Up. Oh, somebody's up.
Oh, is it Mojo?
Hello, Mojo.
Do they look different?
Yes,
Like,
Mojo's actually a lot. Yeah, Mojo's actually a lot bigger.
Mojo?
No, this is Mojo. Mojo's actually a lot bigger. She's still sleeping, but you could definitely tell the size. The males are a lot bigger than the females, and their heads are a little bit more fatter. Her face is little. It's like very narrow. It's adorable though.
Mm-hmm.
I have to smell them. Smelling your ferret is like, I don't know. It's like an addiction.
Wow. You should sell candles like what's her name sells her hoo-hoo candle there. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Like Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yeah. We could have Jude's Mojo Musk or whatever.
Mojo
like,
Musk.
You know what they smell like? They smell like burnt chips. Like, you ever burn nachos? I don't know why that smell is so addicting.
What's the toot smell like if it toots?
But they're poops?
Hello, Six.
No, toots.
I 6.
6 in the house. Wait, I gotta get to the other screen. Here we go. Hello.
All right, go play.
Oh, do you already have it up? Glenzer says ferrets are only males and females. Be careful. YouTube doesn't like talk. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Binary ferrets.
Binary ferrets.
Woman, Needy Okorafor, she writes for Marvel Comics. Doesn't say that here, but she does. And I know that because Eric July showed this, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I should go find that. Here's another one. Blackwashing white characters is not a step forward, and it will bite us on the backside down the line. A black Superman is lazy, sad, useless idea, just as a black Rowan was. We need new stories, and we can't be afraid of the extra work it takes to gather new audiences.
Great
and
point.
You went on to elaborate. I'll blow this up. She says, well, what about, how do you feel about, I think she's kind of like expecting the responses coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Have I not been clear here? I've said what I said.
I love
Apply
that
my words
gif.
to your question and get your answer. Yeah. And then she finished it up by saying, this is not a conversation for me. So.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So they're starting to.
And it's sad because there's, melanin-rich Kryptonians to use and have fun stories with.
Sure.
Static Shock is a black superhero coming to mind.
Yeah, he's one of the best, but he's not Kryptonian.
But yeah, he doesn't have the audience of Superman. But
No, well, I like him
You
more
know.
than Superman personally, but that's just me.
But you know, it you know, it kind of goes back to what Kevin Feige said in a way with Blade. You know, and there's still probably a ton of people don't even know that's a comic book character, but that's something nobody knew. What is this, right? What is it? I don't know. Let's find out. And it became a big hit. Why can't that happen again? Why do we have to take Superman and reskin him? Why can't somebody just figure out, like, take the character Steel from DC Comics and do something with it? It'll probably work if you do it right.
And didn't they have like a 80s, maybe early 90s movie with Steel that was kind of weird?
Yeah, with Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's already been done. There's an outline. Just make it nice, and people will probably love it.
I'd like to see Luke Cage in a movie. I know they did the series, but it would be nice to see him.
That's an interesting thought. That's quite a paradoxical thought, Mr. Tickle Trunk.
And I know Luke Cage was actually a favorite from Keith.
I love
Keith's
Luke
favorite.
Cage.
Yeah.
I love Luke Cage.
Luke Cage is great.
I love the original Luke Cage, that he was like, you know, a hero for hire. He had business cards and shit, you know, and he's like, hey, I'll do anything for $1. It was great, you know. Really, really interesting way to tell a superhero story. So this was part of the opening video, and I encourage everyone to find this on YouTube. Should I put the link in the notes? I probably should.
Yes, you should. This is a wonderful video. I think I sent this to you.
You did, Pete. And I chopped up quite a bit of it, but it's 15 minutes long. I only used 3 minutes of it. Why 99% of movies today are garbage, by Film Threat or Film Courage's Chris Gore. And there's not much to the article here. It's just kind of a summary,
Right.
but you know, and he goes into great detail, and it's everything we say. It's everything we say. So it's
Not just us, but the fandom menace has been saying this stuff for years, and he puts it in a very eloquent way.
very, very succinct way. And it kind of, and again, it just stacks on top of the last couple stories where people are starting to speak out, and like, I think they're starting to realize people aren't going to pay for this. Like, they're not going to pay for this. You might have been able to get away with it during the coup, right? But when everything goes back to normal, people are not going to want this stuff. Oh, nice. Yeah, I always like Chris Gore when he comes on. Like, they put him on Blu-ray extras and stuff like that. Yeah. So, that said, to emphasize,
This is brilliant.
To emphasize his point.
Okay. I'm like, is there a distinction between the genders? I didn't know there weren't female ones, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because that seems like they're implying there weren't, and now they magically are. I just figured they had both or more.
A creature that can lift Arnold Schwarzenegger by the face is going to get defeated by a 13-year-old girl. This is what people want.
Okay. Well, I mean, if she's 13, she needs a better makeup artist.
If you actually take the time to read this article, there's no less than 4 times where they tell you that she's from Native American who's breaking the norms and becoming a warrior, which Native American women weren't doing it, and it says it 4 times, but yet not one part about why the predator's there, why is it coming back, or she, or whatever.
Oh, Jeff Goldblum.
There's nothing about the movie.
Jeff, what would you like to say? Now you will have a predator in your Predator film, right?
4 times they tell you.
This is from Spencer Bakuli, not John F. Trent for a change. Yeah, there is. So they have the synopsis here, Edson, because we read the synopsis months ago. In the synopsis doesn't use predator at all.
Tells you about what about her.
Yeah. It's just basically, she's just like she's fighting gender norms, and but
they go on to repeat it over and over again.
Yeah.
Have you seen the first Predator movie?
Yeah, it's the only good one, actually.
How masculine? How masculine is that movie?
How
How masculine is that movie?
Oozing with testosterone.
It's
But
oozing with testosterone.
to Pete's point, the Predator rips through all these giant, knuckle dragging alpha males.
Right. That's what I mean. It's
so
like
now this girl with her bow and arrows to take it down.
No.
I mean, I just watched the last one that came out a few years ago with Olivia Munn in it, and Olivia Munn's going after it with this big gun and everything. And
she's gonna take a knife and carve her chest.
Yeah.
Boy, that was
scene.
bad. Yeah, this is going to be dead on arrival. Dead on arrival, and I believe it falls into that 99% movies that suck category.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, because I could be wrong. Because then there's this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this.
See this?
Yeah.
The parodies are better than it.
All the parodies. Why? So here we go again. Like, let's throw the cast of the Sandman, but we got to make sure we get everyone's pronouns in there because that has everything to do with the story.
Right.
I'm curious to know how much influence Neil Gaiman has over this whole thing too.
0. I'm guessing he's just going to take the check.
I mean,
what I just don't understand it. If you identify a certain way, that's great. Like no one cares. Like that's awesome. We're not gonna put you down. Why you have to put this in here? Why does this matter?
Well, it is a good question. Why are they making it commercial? Like it doesn't serve a purpose. It's like I was seeing ads about you can put whatever name or suffix you want on your debit card. Blah blah blah. It's like no shit, Sherlock. The name doesn't matter. I never use my full name when I'm shopping.
Right. And the irony is there's 12 actors here. They're all if we call them cis, they're heterosexual except for one. There's only one. Mason Alexander Park, they, them, is the only non-binary actor here. Or the rest of them are binary. I shouldn't say that they're because we don't know. They could be. But I just don't. What's the point? Why can't we just they're playing these characters and this is what the story's about? And nah, we get this instead.
They just don't get the commercial benefit, and that's what they want is some sort of gain, and I just don't see where it's coming from.
That's a good one.
Cleanser, man.
Wow.
Fire. Yeah. Well, Jude, say it. Don't put it in the chat.
No, go. I didn't want to start it. You guys, you could pop it up on the screen.
I can't. You put it in the private chat. I cannot pop it up on the screen.
Oh.
Yeah.
You can't?
No.
All right. Hold on.
Just say it.
No. I would rather have people read the article. I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to screw it up.
It's just a poster on Twitter. That's all it is. They just put.
Oh, I thought I put the link there, and the link.
Oh! I didn't see that.
Yeah, the link's up on top.
Oh, let me hang on. Shite. Give me a second here. I'm boomering.
Now, I'm going to ask a dumb question about this show here. Is this live action or is this a cartoon?
It's live action.
Live action. Okay.
So this came out June 1st.
That's today.
Yeah.
Holy
Sandman
cow.
creator Neil Gaiman.
Hang on, Jude. I got something for that. Ready? Oh, wait. That's the wrong one.
Wow.
Breaking news.
Wow. When did you drum that up?
I don't even know why he needs to defend it. We're not criticizing that they're actors or whatever.
So
why do they have to write that there? The pronouns. That's what we're
right.
asking.
So obviously, if you could read it on the screen, he gives 0 fucks about people who don't understand, haven't read Sandman, whining about a non-binary desire, or that death isn't white enough. The author tweeted.
Gotta have a black actor playing Dr. Hibbert. Stay in your lane.
That's fine.
I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah. It's what okay. Here's the best part. I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah, I have zero fucks for me, zero fucks for you. I'm not watching it.
Well, it has nothing to do with pronouns or anything. It's just
he's
I never
defending the
gave a
wrong
shit
thing.
about Sandman. I never cared about it, even when it was a big graphic novel. I didn't care. It just
It's got a huge following. I mean,
I know it does.
obviously.
Oh,
but-
I'm sure it does. Yeah.
And the huge following will probably complain about this if they're already complaining now, right?
For the most part, if their huge following is goths, no, they're not going to complain at all. I'm
Why is he,
I was
what, is he
bring that up, yes.
what is he doing here then? Getting ahead of something that doesn't exist? I don't understand.
Probably. He just doesn't want the blowback from
Whatever.
people who are general comic book fans and not a niche like this, perhaps, or just I don't know. I'm not a fan of Neil Gaiman. I think he's incredibly mediocre. So, meh.
Wow, that's a
I'm
bold
not a fan of
statement,
him
but
either.
yes.
Okay, sure.
I'm not a big fan of him either.
Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk.
Yeah,
I think. I mean, I know a lot of big fans of his work. My brother.
do too, and I don't care.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's kind of like it's kind of like Dave Matthews for me. I have friends who love Dave Matthews, and I don't get it. I'm like, I get Dave Matthews is a great they're competent musicians.
Trained or whatever, but
I get it, but
I don't. Yeah,
I don't get it.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Mr. Tickle Trunk, he is baiting. I agree.
Yeah. Like I said, you got to have a black actor playing Dr. Hibbert. You can only have gay characters playing, or gay actors playing gay characters.
Or does Mr. Tickle Trunk mean he's baiting, like from Idiocracy?
Yeah,
go away, I'm baiting.
Yeah.
At this point, it could be both.
Wants to get some early publicity into it, I guess.
Idiocracy, the greatest documentary ever made.
Yep.
But it happened before it happened, so what does that really make it? A documentary, or does it get its own new name?
It's like a premonition, right? It's like
It's a premonition, exactly.
It's a prediction of the future. It's like
So it'd be a premonary.
a premonition. We've just defined a whole new genre of filmmaking.
Right.
There is a good YouTube video of him, Neil Gaiman, visiting Ditko's office. Did you see that?
Yeah,
it's on
yeah,
YouTube.
yeah.
It's
That's
really
in that
good.
yeah, it's in that documentary.
It's in the documentary.
Yeah,
and Ditko wouldn't allow the cameraman up there. So Neil Gaiman, when he came down to the lobby, he spoke to the camera guy and explained everything that happened. And it was pretty funny.
Is Neil Gaiman Tim Burton's long lost twin brother or something?
That exactly.
Yeah, no kidding.
I swear to God, they were separated like Luke and Leia. They were like, oh
Yeah.
shit, gotta hide.
And I feel like when you read his stuff too, you have to have The Cure playing in the background or something.
Right?
You can't The Cure has to be playing in the background before you open up any of his work.
To me, he falls in that Alan Moore kind of category where it's just like, the idea that they think they're smarter than their audience.
Yeah.
Kind of. It's a little off-putting. Speaking of off-putting. Oh my God.
Is that Lady Death? Well, no, that's not Lady Death.
No.
No.
Jude? This happened over the weekend.
That's Lady Death, isn't it?
No. That's from Heavy Metal.
That's Tarna.
Heavy Metal.
This character.
Oh, okay. Because that
It's
looked
a
like Lady
really
Death for a minute.
poorly drawn version of that one.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's how I drew when I was a kid.
It's funny how you see the big two, especially the art is not up to the standard it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's clearly because they just get the cheapest people they can find. They don't want to pay. So John F. Trent, he did a great job here kind of consolidating because this went on and on and on. It was like
I just love Louis Royo, but I like him not for heavy metal, but I just like him. So when everyone's like, "Oh, heavy metal," this is like, well, they don't have Louis Royo anymore, so there you go.
No, and I didn't realize Clownfish covered this amongst other people, but Neon did a little homework and found out that heavy metal's been sold twice. Most recently, 2019, to an ex-DC Comics executive. So this explains everything. So basically what happened, this character Tarna is like, everyone sees this art and knows exactly what it is, right? She's like the mascot for Heavy Metal magazine.
Yeah.
Riding on her pterodactyl with her chainmail bikini and whatnot.
That's not chainmail bikini. That's like a leather strap bondage bikini.
Well, that one is, but I think a lot of times. I never got this magazine, but I remember when I was a kid, I'd go down to the corner store to get my comics and bubble gum and stuff, and I used to see it and I'd pull it down and go.
Yeah, I always thought it was like the porno mag of comics.
It was. That's the whole point. It was like an adult. It's from France, or it originated in France, and the whole idea is it's
really
adult fantasy comics, and
so
it's not only the women. The men are running around in loincloths or.
Oh yeah.
Totally
But
nude.
but I didn't realize it was French. So like as far as when it came out, like the 70s, 60s,
like
70s?
70s, early 80s. Yeah.
Okay, so it would have been like a reincarnated or inspired by La Parisienne, which was kind of similar, but the 1920s and Victorian era.
Yeah.
Is it bad? I never saw the movie.
Nice. What's that? No, I've never seen the movie either. But
There's a
so
movie?
here's the character of Tarna.
Yeah, there's a movie.
From the 80s.
Yeah.
With the great Sammy Hagar
It's
song.
animated, isn't it?
Yeah.
It came out in like the early 80s, and I remember it was kind of the same thing. When you went to the video store, it was kind of like the adult section.
And they did a spoof of it on South Park where Kenny meets her and falls in love with her.
Of course.
Yeah. So, she's typically, scantily clad because it's an adult fantasy magazine, or at least it used to be until where is it? This.
There we go.
Well, that's kind of cool.
It's like giving
Like,
Wonder
if it
Woman
has a-
pants.
No, that was awesome. Leather pants and a leather jacket because her entire inspiration is BDSM. Is that just too much for you? Leather is the best.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I mean, even Gloria Steinem in the 70s said Wonder Woman shouldn't be wearing pants.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because Denny O'Neil did that in.
That's right, and he apologized for it.
Jude and I had the privilege to go to Denny's house and interview him and spend the day with Denny, and that is one of his biggest regrets ever doing that.
But it was cute.
Well, that was his thinking, but he's like, what he didn't.
I don't think
kind
these
of the-
kinds of things. Yeah, I get it. That you have a brand and that there's a logo and it's specific. That
Well, it's not
doesn't mean
even
you have
that.
to-
It's that like the feminist Gloria Steinem and people like that attacked him like for like making a mockery of like it was. They took it as he was almost mocking the feminist movement by doing that.
Well, then you can't please those psycho people ever.
I know.
They don't
the
even
bra
try.
burners came after him. And he said too. He goes, but I probably should have had some help from a woman because I'm a white guy writing this anyway. So this is what they did. And by the way,
all my point is that looks really awesome, and with the proper context, who cares? Because I mean, you're gonna write it till it falls off. That's
And I'm
like
with-
the punchline.
and I'm with you, except I say the art looks nowhere near like
Well,
what it's good for
sloppy,
heavy
yeah.
metal. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
not.
Right.
So whoever's running their social media account is really immature.
A 16-year-old boy.
They finally
No.
cover she up. What the?
So the fans start making comments. The readers of this magazine, and I don't think there's too many left. Honestly, I didn't even know it was still being printed.
Right.
It was next to the Mad magazine, I think. It was kind of that era, wasn't it? With those kind of people.
No, it was like, what was that? Epic Illustrated from Marvel. That was kind of their porno comic in the 80s. But it was they would keep it with the adult magazines. Like it was the comics were
Right.
here.
It was.
Yeah. So anyway, most people have more than one outfit. It turns out it gets worse.
Right.
Rest in peace, Tarna. Does changing clothes kill people? We had no idea. Do you not change your underwear? This explains so much.
Yeah. This thing just,
I'm torn. While I generally despise bikini armor as a whole, I also have a pretty severe disdain for the complete changing of iconic characters and looks. At what point does it become an entirely different character, and where exactly is the ridiculous line for scantily clad heroines? Heavy metal. Have you read the book to understand the context of the outfit? Or are you just making assumptions? Trust us, read it, and you will understand. Also, people should change clothes and looks. That's natural. Okay.
If you were to put this next to the original cover, you would have known they're associated with the two. That's the main issue.
Then
that
the
it,
big one. The
You don't know
changes
what it
must
is.
Respect your fans. We don't want fans like that. We're good, thank you.
I don't know.
I seem to recall when TriStar just tried this shit in 1998 and with Godzilla, and it didn't work then either.
Yeah. The new people running heavy metal must really hate their fans. Why do you hate us?
So it's like changing. It's like changing the logo, pretty much, because she was the poster for Metal Magazine or Metal.
No, I get it, but it's this attacking.
Right. That's the issue. The issue is the attacking back at
fans.
You relax. Being afraid of a mob of sociopaths who try to cancel every drop of sexualization is concerning. Your so-called going forward is nothing but a cheap excuse, since the new armor style is so old-fashioned. Moving forward, my balls. Heavy metal response. No one is afraid here. The change in outfit is part of the storyline. As an author, I'm sure you understand that. If you read the series, you would know how silly your comment is. And there were more. Like, this is just the first day. This went all weekend long. There were ones they were saying, like, accusing that, do you live in the basement with your mom? Like, how often do you shower?
Change clothes. Yeah.
How often do you shower? Like, it got really, really personal with these people. And it's like, customer service 101. I mean, come on. We've seen this with Lucasfilm and all these other things. Like, do not do that. What's wrong with it? Just, say, we want to try something new.
There you go.
Hope you like it. If you don't, we're
looking at different things,
We're trying different things. And I agree with you, Kate. I saw that body armor and I said, well, okay, it might be cool. It might not be. And it's probably temporary. And maybe it's part of a certain story arc that they had to do that, right?
Yep.
But when the fans go, what the hell is this? And you just complete and go, oh, do you change your underwear? We don't care about people like you.
They don't understand that their personalization of things is the problem, because that's what they're, like you said, they're NPCs, they're doing what they're told. It's the personalized, polarized pivot. That's what they do.
Yep. And I agree with Mr. Tickle Trunk. The whole point of heavy metal, though, like its entire existence was based on that escapist fantasy, the Frank Frazetta art, right? What's their edge now? Like, what differentiates them from any other comic book? It looks like any other comic book now.
Yeah.
That's because everyone wants to be Frank Frazetta. And it's not like his stuff was like objectifying anything. It's legitimate, professional art that most people cannot do.
Right. Yeah. And that's I think part of the problem is they put like, well, let's say it, children in charge of these social media accounts who don't have a whole lot of social skills. Ironically, the social media people are run by people with zero social skills, and they don't have enough real world experience.
They don't have interpersonal skills because they're an 18-year-old out of high school.
Right. And their go-to is to, attack and humiliate. So it's mind-boggling. It really is. But here's the best part.
Oh, I love this.
Edson loves this.
Yep.
Why is it going smaller when I'm trying to make it bigger? Whoa, that's too big. There we go.
Wow.
That's what she said.
Sorry.
Hey, I'm older. This happens. Goes all haywire on me.
Like a frozen turtle.
Keep going, Keith. Keep going.
Where's that button?
Nintendo, Mr. Tickle Trunk says Nintendo's Mario has an iconic look. They managed to keep. They've been updating him and kept the look even. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Same thing with Sonic.
Again, I saw that armor. I didn't care about that. It's the way they're treating the few customers they have left.
Yep.
So this is interesting too, because all these corporations, especially the comic book companies, go out of their way to please the Twitter mob, right? Well, Mark Millar got a little inside scoop from somebody at one of the big two. Mark Millar allegedly told 95% of the comic book audience is not on Twitter. Says statistic must be mind-blowing for the company marketing departments who are marketing to 5% of Twitter. Well, that did get too big, didn't it? Veteran comic book writer Mark Millar has claimed that he was recently informed by a marketing expert connected to one of the big two publishers that 95% of the comic book audience is not on Twitter, a revelation which he believes must be mind-blowing for the company marketing departments. No. Millar revealed this supposed statistic on May 28th, tweeting from his personal Twitter account. Here's an amazing stat I heard yesterday. Only 10% of comic buyers have a Twitter account, and only half of those accounts are actually active.
Yep.
Thus, 95% of the comic book audience is not on Twitter, which must be mind-blowing for the company marketing departments. It's like the third time that's been in here.
Yeah.
He continued, seemingly commenting on the recent turn by many publishers, including Marvel, DC, and even heavy metal, toward ignoring and in some cases even outright insulting their established fan bases in favor of appealing to imagined audiences on social media. He continues, once you factor in that the average person follows so many people that comic promos are easy to miss, and you quickly realize Twitter is just a fun way to meet and chat with people who share our various passions as opposed to a genuine marketing tool. God, that's awesome. I mean, again, how many of us have been saying the people you pander to on Twitter are not buying this shit?
Right. We've been talking about this the whole time.
Right. I don't go to Twitter to find out about new comics. I ask usually the person who's working there what's good and or ask you guys. I'm not part of Twitter.
This guy, Chris Arendt, says for the general public, Twitter says about 20% of English-speaking countries have Twitter accounts. Weird stat. Where'd you get it from? And Mark Millar says, good pal of mine from marketing at one of the big two. I was surprised by this. He said it's deep on the slide from there, according to their parent company, Deep Dives, and makes little impact on units, which is fascinating. But we know this already. Yep. We know this. It's the
next you'll be telling us that Star Wars didn't have a plan.
What? Where'd you hear that shit?
That's exactly my point that I was going with. 90% of people on Twitter aren't actually people.
I disagree that it's a nice place to meet people. For the most part, 95% of Twitter is a truck stop bathroom wall.
Yeah.
And I've said that for 10 years.
Yeah.
I've had it for 10 years.
It's a porta potty.
I hardly use it. I have an account and I probably log in maybe 5 times a year, if that. Or 4 times.
I didn't use it for about 5 years, and as of the coup, I've used it for a year, and it's been worthwhile because now I know y'all. But yeah, I didn't use it for like 5 years, really.
I was about to ditch it, but then I realized, but the YouTube channel, it's kind of vital to have just to communicate with DMs to each other.
Right.
Yeah, but it's
literally just a chat room.
It's a cesspool, and
Yep.
and I don't know if you've been attacked by any of these weirdos, Kate, but I've had a few run-ins, especially with the Toronto stuff.
I have not, as far as like this stuff. Other things I have, but like they don't understand who they're coming up against for the most part. If they want to play their reindeer games with like, oh, but this, that, and the other minority, blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, I'm less than 1% of the human population. You can eat a dick.
Yeah.
Nice.
I get a lot more flack on them. Full bag. I get more flack on Facebook than I think I do on Twitter.
I'm not
but I would say I instigate a lot of it, so I deserve it. And I have run into people who have gone into my friends list and contacted my friends and threatened to call the cops on them and shit like that. And I told Keith that story. Remember? This is about remember last year, I think it was.
Yeah, they're gonna do a SWAT on you.
The guy was going to call the cops on but not on just me, on my friends, because I had an open friends list, and they were going down the list and trying to call their employers and stuff. That's how fucking crazy this guy was.
Yeah. Social media ruining social relationships everywhere.
Yeah.
So
there's crazy. I mean, you meet crazy people like that in person, they're still gonna be crazy.
No, you do.
Yeah,
you do. But when I get attacked by these weirdos, it's mostly their sock puppet accounts with like 8 followers, 10 followers. They're not even.
Right.
I don't even engage them
because their previous account got banned. So
no, dude. Because they sit there, they don't have jobs, so they sit there and they create like 20 accounts.
Yeah.
And then they just hate you from all the accounts, and they just keep repeating the messaging and yeah, it really is an oxymoron. It's anti-social media.
It never used to be that way. It just I can't say that, but it's gotten worse, I'd say. But it is what it is. This is the wave of the future. I mean, everybody has access to a phone now, and so A 3-year-old, 4-year-old can hit a button and post on Twitter.
But we reached
Oh,
that show.
getting to
That time
point,
of the
yeah.
show.
It's that time. You can say, kids, what time is it?
CW.
CW time. CW time. CW's hurting, man. Legends of Tomorrow now suffers rating lows.
They
The
should join
CW
Hallmark.
is
They'd be good together.
Huh?
They should join the Hallmark channel. They'd be good together.
It basically is the Hallmark channel for teenagers.
Yeah.
So Matt McGloin at Cosmic Book News, in what is quickly becoming the new norm at the CW, Legends of Tomorrow suffers rating lows, which follows rating lows for Superman and Lois, The Flash, Batwoman, Supergirl, and Black Lightning. So Legends of Tomorrow returned with season 6 on May 2nd to the tune of 440,000
Oh,
views.
wow.
Ouch.
That was bad.
Let's drill deeper, shall we? Let's start with Batwoman.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Place your bets.
This is Jude stuff.
The Batwoman, who's on
place your bets.
hiatus, right? What are they doing? 5 more episodes?
Yeah.
They're like kind of quickly shoot 5 more episodes.
This show's like my Litecoin.
Yeah. So the last one that ran was on May 16th, and it brought in 346,000.
That's
holy shit. How could that even justify the budget for this movie? Movie show?
I don't know what they're doing.
What are they doing? And to ask for 5 more episodes this year and a season 3? I'm guessing when the Discovery takeover of Warner Media happens, this thing's going to be dead meat.
For all we know, they came up with the extra episodes because it was kind of a surprise. As said, they came up with because they secretly are going to just end it.
I think they are too.
I thought they solidified another season.
I know early on they did say that, but
yeah, but Jude,
seeing this stuff going week by week, I wouldn't be surprised if they just wrap it up.
I didn't think it was. I didn't know if it was contract driven or something.
Contracts are not worth the paper they're printed.
They can change their mind.
So is it just like you guys might have another season? Who knows?
Oh, they did greenlight it, but
no, they did, but
they did greenlight it. But if you look at this, like the first episode of season 2, 659,000, and aside from this little spike right here on January 31st, which is kind of strange, it plummeted.
It was just snowing outside.
It's snowing outside?
No, he meant when that episode premiered.
Well, everybody. No, I'm just kidding.
It was blizzard, right? Yeah, they only had one channel.
Yeah, that was it.
So then, let's hop over to the Flash and look at Flash season 7.
It's bad.
Similar problem. Started with just about 1 million, and now it's down to 690.
I couldn't believe when I saw this.
This is continuing to plummet, and each week just slowly drops, right? Now let's hop over to here's Legends of Tomorrow, season 6.
Look at the demo on this thing.
Yeah,
I think once you say
look at the demo.
Yeah, I think once you say CW, it's like a dirty word now, and you're like, oh,
look at the Flash.
You know what I mean? It's like, just don't say the CW. It's just
the Flash started. Look at the demo on the Flash. The first episode, 0.3. Now it's down to 0.1.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, this is under 0.8.
But Superman's still holding strong, right?
Well,
right, 0.08.
I think this.
No.
I think Lois and
hiatus killed Lois.
This really killed it. Yeah, it really hurt them. We thought it could go either way, and it just really hurt them.
So the first 5 episodes stayed right around 1.2 million viewers. Then they took 8 weeks off, somewhere in there.
8 weeks. That's a move.
Yeah, and it came back to 718,000. A drop.
Now, did they leave? Did they leave off on a cliffhanger, or they just took a break?
They had they didn't have enough episodes done because of COVID.
Right, but they should have left on a cliffhanger. Obviously, that's how you get people drawn back for a long hiatus.
I
didn't see the 5th episode. So and then it rallied back. It went up 15% or so.
That did look like a good sign, but that may be like, it's back. We should really watch it, and almost like I'm hoping that's what happened. Like where people, the show is back. We missed it last
because what happened in between is they aired Supergirl in its place, and Supergirl totally bottomed out.
Oh yeah.
So people probably thought Superman and Lois was done. It was just 5 episodes, or they're going to come back.
They might have forgotten it.
Fall or something, right? And then they didn't do a whole lot of advertising, I don't think, to say.
I didn't see any such advertising. Yeah.
if they were advertising on the CW with nobody's watching these shows, who saw that, right?
Right.
So we'll see. It's airing right now, or it just finished airing. What time is it?
We'll see how it is.
So tomorrow we'll see the preliminary ratings, but they're doing well in the demo. 0.20. It was, look at that. Pilot was 0.37. So.
Glinser's Clubber Lang comment. That's fucking hilarious. I don't know if you put it up on the screen. That's fucking hilarious. I love that.
It is
pain.
You know, you got to grade it on a curve, Mr. Tickle Trunk, because it is the CW.
The thing is, it's not a million. It's much
That's
less.
fucking hilarious.
CW
That's gonna be
nice.
stuck about. That's great.
Soon to be CB completely broke. They also put Supergirl and Superman's time slot well paused. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Zach says people get routinely more viewers making fun of Batwoman than actually.
That's
watching.
right.
Well, that's
Az's commentary.
Absolutely true.
I look forward to Az's commentary.
Mr. Tickle Trunk says that comment, and yeah. So
we got some good witty commentary in chat tonight. It's
That's
great.
been great tonight.
Keep it going, man. Chat's been on fire.
Chad
It's upstaging us a little bit.
Completely. So I only have a couple left, but let's get into this. Is a happy story because I've been starting my reviews way late on this show. I know, but because I'm doing like a thorough job, I want to make sure I do a thorough job.
Yep.
And the showrunner confirmed everything that I pretty much said on my first review. That he understands Superman, and that's why this show is so good. He says, Helbing says it's important to stay true to who they are at heart. With both Superman and Lois, you just have to keep who they are at the core the same, what they stand for, what their drives are. What? You mean you don't want to change them for a contemporary audience?
Next, you'll be saying that Star Wars didn't have a plan.
I've been comparing Elizabeth Tulloch's Lois Lane to Margot Kidder's quite a bit in my reviews. This is why. Lois Lane has to be fearless, independent, and outspoken. Outspoken. Yes, exactly. In our version, she needs to be a really good mother and a strong partner. Nailed it. As for the other half of the dynamic, Clark just needs to be a good guy from a small town. He's a simple guy. He happens to be the most powerful man in the universe, and he wants to do good and change the world, but he's a humble guy at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah. You mean like Christopher Reeve's Superman was, that everyone loves, and to me is still the definitive portrayal of Superman. He's as comfortable, or probably more comfortable, just being in his barn, he continued. I think if those core aspects are there, then we've done a good job.
Wow.
But now being a dad too, we have to see that play out. Unfortunately for Clark, raising his sons, especially Jordan, who's manifesting abilities, won't be as easy as it was for Mon, Pot, Ken to raise him. And that's what I love about that. I mean, it's great because as much as he succeeds as Superman, he's failing as a dad. Not failing in raising the kids, but every time he thinks he's doing something good for them, it blows up in his face. He's kind of like, what the fuck?
So that's pretty normal parenting.
Exactly. Exactly. Have you watched the show at all, Kate?
No, but I mean, I enjoy the. I've never been a fan of the CW. Like when it went from WB to CW, I'm like, fuck this shit, I'm out. And I was like 12. So I don't know when that happened.
This is about as anti-CW so far. I mean,
It seems like it.
They could bait and switch it. But it's in the two boys. It goes on to talk about the two boys here. Edson, you've been watching this, right?
Yep.
Has anybody else been watching this besides me and Edson?
No.
Yes. The two boys are fantastic. They feel real. They feel like brothers. I have a brother who's younger than me, and it's the same kind of relationship. And man, they did it. So far, knock on this Formica thing. It's.
I saw the first episode, and I'm probably going to continue watching it after the show's probably closed. But the two kids were great. I thought they worked well.
As you watch it go on, Jude, because they both struggle with setbacks and things like that, but they're always there in the end, they're always there for each other, and it's fantastic. And I like to comment on the cinematography a lot, and the tone and the color grading of this show. They do a lot with palettes, where when they're on the farm and when the Kent family's together and they're supporting each other, it's a very warm, orangey kind of a tone to it. And then you go to, like, say, Lana Lang's having a lot of dysfunction in her home, and it's very blue and icy. And whenever there's conflict, it gets very blue and desaturated and icy. And when there's something good happening, it's very warm and oversaturated. And it's stuff that does subconsciously, and that's not stuff you see on the CW. They don't do that on the Bat Wham, and the Bat Wham, and just it looks the same, right? That shows that, like, the production value on this show is a little bit higher. And clearly the budgets are a little bit higher because the effects look good.
I just the CW. Yeah, I mean, the problem with the CW is that they make every person in that show, every show that they produce, everybody's too pretty. I think they're just too over the top pretty, or they try to pick actors that are pretty, and it seems to have a checklist.
Hey.
And every single hey,
how are you, Keith?
I just don't like their formula. I just never liked their formula for their shows.
I don't think that Lois is prettier than Terry at all. Terry is like the best Lois ever.
No, but that's my point too, because Margot Kidder was not drop dead gorgeous either. She was spunky, and this woman they've cast, Elizabeth Tulloch, is very plain and very spunky. Like they clearly, I think the showrunner.
Okay, but you have to keep in mind that I'm a straight woman and I'm being objective.
I get it, but my favorite Lois Lane has always been Margot Kidder, and it had nothing to do.
Yeah, and she's pretty too, and this one is not.
But she's got the same
swagger.
Yeah, that's great that she can do the role. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I'm just saying, like, not everyone they cast is going to be super attractive. There's just super basic, perhaps.
Right. And Tyler Hoechlin's got the Clark Kent thing down, and that's what makes this work. You know, I love Henry Cavill as Superman, but he's not a good Clark. He's just not a good Clark.
Is it because he hasn't been allowed to be a good Clark? Because
yes, exactly.
I mean,
it's because it's the Zack Snyder imagining of Superman that hasn't allowed him to be a good Clark. He's not a traditional Clark.
He's like a natural one.
I know he's great, and that's a different interpretation. My favorite interpretation of Superman is this interpretation, the Boy Scout, the kid the farm boy, who means well and has trouble processing when things don't always work out. It's kind of, and Hoechlin plays him perfectly. Just the little nuances when things don't work out, and this look of confusion, like, thought I was doing the right thing.
I'll have to finish watching it. I mean, so far it's
Mr. Trunk. It was good to see you, sir.
So far it's still good, right?
I agree, Glimpser. I loved Erica Durance and Lois in Smallville as a younger Lois.
Right. I think the one
it was really good.
Returns. Who was that? The girl who played her in the Brandon Routh movie. She was awful. Kate Bosworth. She was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
And I love Amy Adams too, but she's not Lois Lane. She's just not.
Yeah, that's weird. I think that's so weird.
Yeah, just I think they put her in for her name and her box office appeal, but she's not Lois Lane. Moon Knight, Moon Knigget.
Yeah, Knigget.
Oscar Isaac confirmed, says Matt McGloin at Cosmic Book News. What's everybody?
Yeah, we knew that was gonna.
Yeah, I think that'll be good. I mean, I'm hoping.
I'm hoping it will be.
This is like the one of the few Marvel things left that I'm like, let's do this. I love Moon Knight.
Yeah, they're starting a new Moon Knight series in the comic as well. So.
Oh, they are.
Yep.
Who's writing?
Either June or July.
Is it?
It's not somebody that brings up to mind that I.
Does his comic sell? I mean,
no. Why
would they do another run?
Because of this, most likely.
Maybe. Yeah.
Signal boost this, but also it's weird because he's got a cult following Moon Knight. It's weird. It's like they bring it back, they cancel it. They bring it back, they cancel it. They bring it back, they cancel it. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, and that's what scares me about the Superman and Lois. I feel the bait and switch coming, but until it does, I'm gonna hold out hope. There's a couple of little casting and movie news here as we kind of wind down.
Yeah, I saw
this. Block of Wood cast as Kraven the Hunter.
Oh,
what? Okay, who's this? This is wrong. It should have. Okay, I don't care if you hate it. Should have been Roman Reigns. because he's a blockhead who looks exactly like Craven. Why do they have to keep wrecking everything I love? I fucking hate these people.
This guy is one of the shittiest actors. Like this guy's not a good actor.
I don't know who that is.
It's Kick-Ass. It's the kid.
Oh my
God. Oh my God.
It's Quicksilver. Quicksilver from Ultron.
Yeah, it's Quicksilver. That is
Guy.
Quicksilver. Yes, it's
Yeah.
Quicksilver.
He's
Yes.
not big enough. He's not big enough. Dead stop. Not big enough. You can work out all you want there, Cupcake. Not big enough.
He's also not
Wow.
old enough. Like Craven should be like middle-aged, right?
Yeah. Like that's why I said
Yeah,
Roman Reigns. I don't think he's that old, but he looks older, and he can. Though he's Samoan, he can pull off that big bulky Slavic look. And yeah, it would have been perfect. He's not a good actor, I'm sure. I don't care. He looks
Maybe
the part.
Jason
He can
Momoa.
learn. No,
Jason
fuck that guy.
Momoa should have played Craven.
No, he's boring. No.
Craven's a great character, so I feel like this will be ruined. And if they're going to give him his own movie, because they're building this Spider-Man universe, it's so.
I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan would be a good Craven.
I don't know what that guy looks like.
Little old.
He's Negan. He's
yeah,
Negan
yeah,
from
Negan.
Walking Dead.
I also disagree. Not big enough.
That too. He's not big enough. How about John Cena? He's going to be looking for work.
Yeah, exactly.
To me, a Craven movie by itself might be okay, but what they're
It's got to be with Spider-Man.
well,
It's so weird.
Craven's Last Hunt would be a great.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's
Oh,
exactly
yeah.
where I was going with this. That'd be a great.
They're not
fucking movie.
doing this though. They're not doing it with this one.
No, unless
They want to
Sony,
establish them first.
right? Sony might have a plan to establish him, and then, it's going to be interesting to watch how the rights with Spider-Man shake out with Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
That'd be a dark Spider-Man.
They're doing Venom 2, they're doing Morbius, they're doing Kraven the Hunter now is announced at least. So they want to build this Spider-Man universe, but they kind of need Spider-Man.
It's just too little too late, and they can't get Spider-Man right. And they're never going to because they don't understand the character.
I fully agree.
Sam
I
Raimi
fully
did.
agree.
Sam Raimi understood the character.
Yes, and that's why
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire is still my favorite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he isn't perfect, but it's still the closest.
It's the closest because it's closest in tone.
Yeah.
And they had Peter Parker exactly right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. He could have definitely been more of a smartass, but yeah.
A little bit more.
Yeah, he definitely needed to be more mouthy.
Yeah,
And the
he wasn't a
organic-
mouthy enough Spider.
And the organic web shooters sold the character short because part of the charm of Spider-Man in the comics was
Yeah.
he'd be in the middle of a fight and they
Yeah, I didn't like
Right.
They
that.
malfunction.
Yep. And then
right.
who also has the father figure in what's the professor's name who becomes Lizard?
Kurt Connors.
Kurt, yeah. So he that whole arc is very important for a lot of reasons, not just the shooters, but because then he has his own story, and then they have to work together, and blah blah blah.
Well, and the biggest antagonist in his life that Sam Raimi understood, but nobody else has understood, is J. Jonah Jameson.
Yes.
Yes.
J. Jonah Jameson, because J. Jonah Jameson pays him to sabotage himself. And he
Yep.
has to do it because he needs the money to take care of Aunt May, who doesn't have enough money because he's responsible for Uncle Ben's death, which puts her into debt. The whole thing is all about it's Peter Parker stuck in this paradox.
Yep.
And that's what nobody has gotten right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's why I
other
hate
than the
the
casting.
MCU Spider-Man. I hate the MCU Spider-Man with a
Yeah.
passion
Mhm.
because it's fucking Tony Stark Jr. That is not
Yes.
Parker. It's not Spider-Man. It's not even close. I hate
Yeah.
those movies. They're awful. They're awful. I can't.
Well,
I've
the-
never
the-
saw him. Never saw him.
They're
Yeah.
bad. They're terrible.
I mean, the sad thing is, where do you go now with that character? I mean, he's Tony Stark, and where do you go? That was the great thing about Tobey Maguire's character is he had that element of Peter Parker, and he was trying to learn. He was learning lessons as he was going along.
Because they're going to split the license with Sony, you can do a multiverse thing, and you leave that
Right.
shitty Spider-Man in the MCU, and you put the right Spider-Man in here.
I
That's
don't
what
know if they will, but
Mm.
it's just too little, too late. It's so
I agree.
gone.
I agree.
They just
Well,
need
when
to
you
let it-
reboot the character every 3 years, you
Ugh.
fuck yourself, right?
I never saw any of the Garfield Spider-Mans.
I didn't either. I didn't see anything past Toby. I was not going.
Yep.
This
I
comment
skipped-
right here. Oh, you just had it. The
Which one?
Luke Evans would be a good Craven. I think you got it right there.
Anybody that this stump God,
Yes, I agree with Keith, movie geek.
Yes, absolutely, Keith. Absolutely. Jude, here's one for you. Cobra Kai.
I know. I'm so excited.
Season 4.
You know what's gonna be horrible about this is I do this all the time. Once these drop, I spend like the whole fucking day inside watching the whole entire series. I don't take a break.
Don't do that.
And it's a fucking full day of just like turning off the cell phone, eating really badly, drinking a lot of beer, and just the windows, the
All
shades
right.
are down.
I'm going to appeal to Netflix right now because I know they're watching Netflix.
Do not.
Put these out one at a time.
Yeah.
Yes, they need to.
They are starting to do that with some markets. They do that in Korea with Korean dramas. So when everyone's like, "Oh, they don't," well, they do it with some things in some places. It's just the English-speaking market, English-speaking market doesn't do it for some reason. I don't know why. It's
I don't
so
know why
horrible.
either. Because
Like
if they
in-
look at... Sorry, Kate, go ahead.
Oh, it's fine. In general, I think most of English-speaking Netflix is absolute trash. For the most part, I've only watched other things from other places for the past 7 years.
Yeah, the models worked for Amazon and Disney Plus, and it works. I
Mhm.
mean, you want to have water cooler stuff, like back when we were watching broadcast TV, and you'd go to work and go, "Oh my God, everybody see that last night?"
Yes, I fully agree. Yes.
I think
go ahead.
okay, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I do think that there's a place for binging, and I think there's a place for short series, and they have all this opportunity to do all of it all at once for things that it works for. And you'd think, based on how they write stuff, if it has a cliffhanger at the end of an episode, you want to build that up and have people hypothesize for a week.
Yes.
But if it just rolls right into the next thing, then just roll right in.
I agree, and not only that, you can build a bigger audience because people go and tell people like, "You got to see this. You got to see this. Go subscribe before next week, and you got to see this."
Yeah.
I like to use the example of Mandalorian. If they put season 2 out on the same day, and you sat home and watched all those episodes back to back to back to back, Luke Skywalker's appearance at the end. Oh shit! Did I just give something away?
At this point,
Luke Skywalker's appearance at the end will nullify all the other big moments.
Right, you won't remember any of it.
You'll forget Ahsoka. You'll forget Bo-Katan. You'll forget Boba Fett. You'll forget all that shit because all you'll remember is that last 10 minutes, right? But instead, because we got it dripped out every week, we got to experience big moment after big moment after big moment, and that's to me that's the consequence of the binge.
And I don't know how many times I've watched in between waiting for the next episode to come out, how many fan theory YouTube channels I watched. I'm like glued to watching people just talk about the show and their theories, and even going on a forum, and it becomes hype. And then, when the hype is real, everybody goes fucking nuts.
Yep.
So
I think Netflix should try it with this show. Try it with this one right out of the gate, season 4. Put them out once a week and see what the response is. They've got to try it because it's working with the other streaming platforms.
And everybody that I've talked to who didn't want to watch this show, who said, "Oh, I don't want to fucking watch." I hated, the Karate Kid, and then like they would watch the first season of the second season, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my God, this is great!" And I'm like, "I told you." Yeah. So it's definitely a well done show, and it's written well too.
It's fantastic. It's just escapist fun. I mean, there's plenty of moments where I'm like eye rolling and going, "That's stupid," but then you step back and go, but you know what? It's just fun. Like they have that big fight in somebody's house at the end of season 3.
But the dialogue isn't trying to appease anybody either. They say they'll say things that could be offensive to people. It's like
Johnny's character is he's he's me.
Some say I'm on the spectrum. Get over that shit. Whatever he says. Get off that.
I actually watched Karate Kid this weekend because it was raining. And it was weird because after watching all the Cobra Kais, it was like a time capsule going back and seeing them all as kids. It was weird.
Yeah.
But this is a fantastic show. I'm really excited for season 4. Does it say when it's coming out?
It's dropping. Yeah, it's dropping pretty soon, though. I thought
it was towards the end of the year.
Yeah, because they finished shooting like a month ago, I think, right, or 2 months ago. We had a story a while back about they wrapped production. So
I wasn't a big fan of the third movie,
Yeah,
but
sorry,
Terry
guys.
Silver was a good villain.
Yeah, he's
so
good.
Yeah. All right.
are you gonna? Oh, okay.
Anyone else? Is anyone else as convinced as I am that this is a fucking bomb in the making?
It looks like it will be.
Oh no, absolutely.
I really wanted
it's
to
just
hope
got
it will be good.
everything going for it for the wrong reasons.
Right. So first we get Lebowski Thor. Are you ready for this? Have you seen this yet?
Oh yeah, the
Oh,
Olivia
God.
Newton-John Thor. Yeah.
We get Bjorn Borg Thor.
I hate Taika Waititi. I
Oh
fucking
my
hate him.
god.
I'm all for this. I don't care. You guys are haters.
I'm not hating this. I'm actually.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna give it a chance. It's just.
It's
No,
just.
I just mean the look. I think that's.
Yeah. No. I mean.
Just the logo.
That's a
shows-
meme right there. You know, it's a meme right there.
This logo
That's
shows you
adorable.
already. This is in trouble just from the logo.
Oh, yeah.
So Matt McGloin surmises we can guess the scene might involve fellow goofball character Star-Lord, as it's confirmed Chris Pratt will be in the movie. As Quill is a big fan of the 80s, perhaps both characters put on their sweatsuits and have an exercise dance-off bro moment to Olivia Newton-John's Let's Get Physical or Xanadu.
That's a good.
And I bet you I bet he's spot on.
Yep.
We can also guess that since Chris Hemsworth and Thor are white males, that Marvel wants to make them look bad. As Kevin Feige has confirmed, he cut Benedict Cumberbatch and Doctor Strange from WandaVision simply because they are white males.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, that part.
So. And they've had to
Covered
rewrite
that article. Yeah.
They had to rewrite the Doctor Strange movie because of it, because he was supposed to be in WandaVision, and then they said, "Oh, we can't have a white guy telling Wanda what to do or how to use her powers. That's mansplaining." So they took him out.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Come on.
Thor: Love and Thunder seems to be all about continuing to push Hollywood and Marvel's PC agenda, as Natalie Portman will become Thor, and it has been said Tessa Thompson will be looking for her queen. Yeah, and I saw Tessa Thompson tweet like today or yesterday, like, "Yes, my character Valkyrie is gay, and I'm happy."
Yeah, everyone knows that. That's the part of the.
Well, what does
character
that have
the
to
whole
do with
time.
the story?
Yeah, that would be
in
awesome.
Some parts of the comics it does, but it's rare, and it's no one cares because all the people who are fans already know.
That's pretty funny.
He does look like Brad Pitt.
Yeah, kind of. That's basically like twice the size.
So this came out a couple days ago, and then this came out. I think this was today.
Oh, I read.
Oh
this.
wait, this was today. Hold on a second.
Sorry.
Breaking news.
Nice.
I might have to shorten that a little bit for these little.
Just a skosh.
Well, it's from an intro, and I'll have to cut it down for just so we can pound it in here. But Taika Waititi reprimanded by Marvel for racy photos with Rita Ora and Tessa Thompson. John F. Trent today. A new rumor claims Marvel Studios and Disney reprimanded Thor: Love and Thunder director Taika Waititi after racy photos surfaced of him with Rita Ora and Thor: Love of Thunder actress Tessa Thompson.
There it is.
Having a little go at it there. Little.
I mean, that's what they consider racy. I mean, that's a.
Well,
okay.
It didn't. We don't do those things. We don't have like.
I guess that's fair.
Vanity Fair writer Emily Kirkpatrick also notes that another man who was on the balcony with Waititi, Ora, and Thompson also kissed Thompson on the same day.
Oh my god!
Bum, bum, bum. Oh, and there he is sitting there up there with them. Following these photos hit the internet last week, a report from Australia's The Daily Telegraph via The Independent claims that Marvel bosses have reportedly reprimanded the Kiwi filmmaker for the photograph. As The Independent reports, an insider close to Thor: Love and Thunder's production told the publication that the behavior exhibiting the photo is not exactly the image they're looking to project in relation to one of their biggest franchises.
Oh my god.
How
old are we? Come on.
The source also detailed that Waititi crossed a line despite having a reputation for being a party animal. So there he is.
Oh
That's hardly a party animal, but
It's hard to
okay.
imagine this type of behavior would offend anyone at
I know.
Marvel.
It's not like they had photos of him blowing lines off a stripper's ass. I mean, come on.
Oh, it's this right here. Was he kissing Chris Hemsworth?
No. If Marvel Studios and Disney are somehow taking issue with this type of relationship, that doesn't really make sense either, given the biggest selling point for their Eternals film has been an openly gay relationship. Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige proclaimed back on Good Morning America that the film would feature a gay character who had a family and was married. He's married, he's got a family, and that's part of who he is.
A little hypocritical, yeah.
Yeah. So, whatever.
Yeah. I'll forget about that in another hour.
I'm going to say it again. I said it like 16 times. Phase 4 is fucked. I'm telling you.
I'm looking forward to watching it crash and burn, though. There's got to be some good gems out of the.
Zach says they missed an opportunity to make Chris Hemsworth belly crawl over to Natalie Portman to give her Mjolnir. Or did they?
I know. I read that in chat and laughed.
Eternals has a selling point.
All right.
Glinzer says, but that might be culturally appropriated Prince in his When Doves Cry video. When Doves Cry video. Yeah.
When dogs cry, I think that's funnier.
When dogs cry. Yeah. All right, a couple more.
There's got to be a diamond in the rough, though. There's going to be a diamond in the rough. I have faith.
Don't we see memes?
Guardians 3 and
there you go.
Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah.
Guardians 3 and Doctor Strange. There you go.
Yeah, that's basically it.
So Bill Hunt at Digital Bits announces the Dune 4K Ultra HD, David Lynch's Dune. Edson, I'm sure you're going to be all over this.
Looks awesome.
Jinkies, look at all that.
The thing is, I wish I had liked that version.
I will probably get this anyway, because I mean you're the Dune guy, but look, you've told me 16 ways to Sunday that you can't make this story in one movie. Yep. That said, it is what it is, and
right.
Well, it had a lot of studio involvement in it also, right? They cut a lot of shit out, so they were afraid that people weren't going to watch it because it was it was too long, and they were trying to
too
tell
long, too heavy,
and too heavy, right? Content was definitely going to be too heavy.
So they're
putting a casual viewer.
4 versions of this.
Yep.
Limited edition Blu-ray, limited edition 4K Ultra HD, limited edition Deluxe 4K Ultra Steelbook, and a regular limited edition 4K UHD Steelbook, which also includes Blu-ray on both of those. So it's going to have a 4K restoration, 60-page book, a poster, lobby cards, all kinds of stuff. Lots of documentaries on the making of it and whatnot. So this is the one I'll probably get.
Which is the real story about it, which are the documentaries.
Yeah.
And it's not terrible. It's just there's way too much cut from it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the new one that comes in October. I know it's only part 1, but I'm hoping that'll be.
Now, is there like a director's cut of this, like a one you should watch?
There was a TV cut, and I think they were going to put it on there, but
it's like when It's like when people ask me which Blade Runner to watch, and I'm always like, okay, you need to watch the director's cut or this version.
There's 4
which director's cut?
Yeah, right.
The final cut, I do believe.
The final cut, yes.
Yeah, this is only going to have the 137-minute theatrical cut.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to put the TV cut, but there was some kind of legality behind that, and they couldn't, because I think the TV cut added a lot more to it. So anyway, you know what? It'll be nice
cool
because all the transfers for home video so far have looked like shit, looked like absolute shit. So a 4K remaster will probably look really nice.
Okay.
I hope it doesn't make the special effects look worse than they are, but
yeah, who knows? But that's one, and then there's one for Pete.
Yeah.
What's it? Ah, yes.
4K Transformers the movie.
I
I don't know what to say about that. I mean, it's. I'm sure the animation would look adequate in 4K.
I guess.
I mean, yeah. Some of the animation was actually pretty good. A lot of the animation was not.
No, it wasn't. I know.
I have it on Blu-ray. That's I think enough for me.
I don't have it on Blu-ray. So it's coming out August 3rd. This will be a brand new scan from the original 35 millimeter film elements in widescreen, HDR, blah 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 blah. So, and it's going to have like new bonus features, I think. But yeah,
maybe I do like the bonus features. That does make it worth it.
They're better than the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A year-long Star Trek event.
Oh yeah.
Star Trek.
It's a track.
Star Trek: The Mirror War. IDW is doing this year-long thing. This is from John Trent. I don't know how to. I'm kind of sick of Mirror Universe Star Trek.
Here's the other one.
Like a cheap gimmick. Oh, that's the other one?
Yeah, there she is. She just got up from her nap.
Aww.
Miko.
Well, Mika, we'll have to put that in here, but all this nice marmot, Jude. Nice marmot, Jude. So, what do you think of this?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like, how many times can you go back?
The one comic I was waiting for, and I guess never happened. I guess because Disney bought up Fox, but they were going to be doing a Star Trek Aliens.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I think one thing about this, we never saw a next gen Mirror Universe, right? So
right, never.
Nice marmot.
Never had a mirror. Yep.
I
wonder
might
why 7 seasons they never even.
Yeah, because they beat the hell out of it in DS9. You know?
Yeah, no, they really did, a lot of them.
Yeah. And the last thing I got here, this is for Pete.
Ooh, yeah, but I can't see it. I got nice marmot over my face.
Oh shit, that's
ooh, Godzilla.
Yeah.
The Monster Arts figures, they are expensive, but boy, are they worth it. I actually have. I'm not going to go for this version. I have the 2019 version, which doesn't have the effects on his spines. But yeah, the Monster Arts figures are really good.
That's from King of the Monsters.
Yeah,
Looks like it's got some serious neck articulation.
Yeah, they do. This one can actually get on all fours.
Oh, can it?
Yes, it can.
Why don't they have a picture of it doing that? They should. That's a selling point. They should put a picture of that.
But yeah, any of the Monster Arts figures, I've got a King Ghidorah that's like 1.5 feet across. I think it's enormous.
Oh, that's cool. So yeah, so it's from Godzilla v Kong. Might be kind of fun.
Oh yeah, if you're willing to drop $100 on a figure,
I might be.
Those Monster Arts figures are way better than the
Yeah, you missed the marmot, Dax. Here, we'll bring him back for a second there. There we go.
There we go.
Nice marmot. All right, let's go around the horn and do our recommendations. Kate, we usually have a recommendation, like something you've watched or read or that you think.
Oh.
Yeah, so I can save you for last if you want. So
Yeah, sure. Give me a minute.
So let's start at the bottom and work our way up. So let's start with Pedro right below me here.
I'm going to recommend some cheese.
Okay.
Some nice aged cheddar starring Matthew McConaughey and Christian Bale.
Oh.
Helicopters versus Dragons, folks. Reign of Fire.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
It's kind of funny because John Amenta and Lloyd Green at Pint of Comics are reviewing a movie this week on their podcast with Matthew McConaughey and Bill Paxton. I thought you were going there.
Oh, Frailty. Yes.
Frailty. Yeah.
No, this one is it's apocalyptic end of the world sort of stuff, except the world's been taken over by dragons. And I actually like the way the dragons look because they've got 2 glands in the mouth and they spit chemicals, which how they breathe fire. They fly like they're wasps with their legs hanging down. The effects are a little dated. I think this is from
early 2000s, right?
I want to say 2002.
Yeah, I was
Looking
thinking
for
2003. Yeah.
Yeah, 2002, 2003.
Yeah, it was like Lord of the Rings time. Everybody wanted to quickly get something out with a dragon in it.
Exactly. I think this movie was competing with Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. I think it just came out at the wrong time.
Right.
But it's one of these, don't think about it. It's Matthew McConaughey versus dragons, for God's sakes. So yeah, it's a fun little movie.
Exactly.
I recommend this.
Yeah, Frailty. If you want to hear their review, it's at Pint O Comics podcast. It's really good. They do a Scary Larry's House of Horrors. They do like 10 shows a season on scary movies, and he also says Rain of Fire was fun. Edson, what do you got?
Okay, I'm gonna do a kind of a pre-recommendation because hopefully this doesn't come back to bite me, but I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna go in the theater to see it, and it's A Quiet Place 2, and I'm hoping it's really good. But I really want people to go based on two things. One, I love the first one, and two, it had this really great opening weekend. It was like the highest weekend since like a year ago before the pandemic came. So, actually, I'm recommending it to myself.
Let me know when you're gonna go.
I really want to go see it in the theaters.
Yeah, I'll go with you if I'm available. Because I know you wanted to see it, and I thought of you when it came out this weekend.
I remember it was like last year, right around this time, it was supposed to come out. I was like, oh, I can't wait till, and then it's like, oh, everything got.
Yeah. Well, at least they still delivered to the cinema.
Yes. Yeah.
Judah Buddha, what do you got?
Well, I didn't really get to too much this past weekend, but I did watch Army of the Dead. I don't know if I can fully recommend it, but it was fun for what it was. I think it's like I said, it's just a fun movie. Like it's just, I wouldn't call it a zombie movie, but I still think they're ogres or orcs from Lord of the Rings. But I do want to see A Quiet Place 2 because I just got done watching A Quiet Place 1.
Oh, okay.
Last week because I was setting myself up for A Quiet Place 2, but I ended up watching Army of the Dead instead because actually Stacy was pushing for me to watch it. She's like, oh, you gotta watch it. I'm like, all right. So I skipped A Quiet Place 2 and watched Army of the Dead instead. Army of the Dead.
Well, then we should do a GeekTime trip to the cinema.
What did you think of the first one? What did you think of the first one?
I have a funny story. I actually saw A Quiet Place, the first one, in a movie theater by myself. I saw it. I showed up for the movie, sat in the theater. No one showed up, and I got to watch A Quiet Place alone in a movie theater with surround sound and everything. And I thought that was like the best experience. It was just like lightning, and it just that doesn't happen. That never happens. So I thought that was a cool experience. And but I like it. Watching it a second time last week was just as good as the first time I saw it. It's done well. It's done well,
but it has some like dumb moments where you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense.
It does
because of the whole
right. But it was I thought there was one scene that could have gone in that direction, but it led to being very suspenseful because you didn't know what was going to happen. And then the ending they kind of rushed it to kind of, I think, close the movie. And that one scene at the end, you're kind of like, okay.
There's some stuff in the middle too. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
whatever. It's fine though.
But it builds suspense, which I like.
Have you thought about it, Kate?
I really don't have anything new and interesting. I kind of just gone back and watched some of my old favorite movies. So like When Harry Met Sally, Heathers, and Practical Magic. I love Heathers.
Heathers is an amazing movie.
It is.
It's ahead of its time. That movie, when it came out back in the day, people were like, "Holy shit!" And then you could still watch it today, and it still holds up.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. It's probably my absolute favorite movie.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah. That's what I've been doing.
I'll have what she's having.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You know what? I think I said this last time, but I don't remember because I was so tired. Like when I came on at the end last time, because I'd been working all day, I should have never come on that last show. I don't remember what I was even saying. So I'm going to re-recommend it if I didn't do it already.
The Orville.
Okay.
I love the Orville. I just finished it. I'm ready for season 3. It's Star Trek. It's the Star Trek we haven't had in 25 years. So I highly recommend it. It's got a little humor in it too. So it's like Star Trek meets Galaxy Quest. But the characters are great. The writing's great. Seth MacFarlane understands Star Trek more than the people who are running Star Trek.
Wow. So it's better than Enterprise, huh?
Yes, it actually is better.
Wow.
Than it's
Okay.
like it's like 90s Star Trek. It's actually a lot like original Star Trek. And it's funny, in a very short amount of time, some heavy things happen to some of the characters, and you're like, whoa, like you feel it. And I couldn't believe I was actually vested in the characters that quickly. Like I had to stop myself and go, well, wow, this is well written, because I just reacted to that. So instead of just bored. So yeah. So Orville's great. That's my recommendation. So I want to thank Kate, actually, before we go. Let's pimp your wares again.
Woo! So my virtual interior design business. You want help organizing, paint picking, redoing an entire room from scratch? You can check out my website. You can even just buy Amazon stuff through. Like if you enter Amazon through my website, whatever you buy, I can get a cut, maybe, because they're fickle. But that's the thought that counts.
The thought that counts. So I am gonna poke around in here for sure, because I got some replacing worn things that has to. What's that, Jim?
Every time you say Kate, it reminds me of. So I used to be really into this punk rock band called the Bouncing Souls, and they have a song called "Kate is Great." So every single time you say Kate, I think of that song, "Kate is Great." I don't know if you've ever heard that song.
That's fun.
It's a good song. Check it out.
What's the band?
The Bouncing Souls.
Bouncing.
The Bouncing Souls. They're out of New Jersey. Old punk band.
It's true, Zax. The Orville is no Discovery. There's no character in the Orville that can fly in a spacesuit, crash into a starship, plummet to a planet, and get up and dust themselves off. They're just not that good. They're not the bestest ever. So that's it. I want to thank our guest, Edwin Acevedo, who had to leave early. Kate, thanks for sticking with us all night here for 3 hours.
No problem.
Welcome. You're
Thank
welcome
you.
anytime. You were great. I want to thank the chat, all the people in the chat. Mr.
Chat killed it tonight.
Keith, Movie Geek, Zax. I'm trying to scroll back here. All the people. Con Guy. It stops at a certain point. I can't go all the way back.
6 was here.
6.
Yes,
I don't
6
know. Glinzer. Did I say Glinzer? Probably. Anyway, if I miss people, I'm sorry, because I can only go back so far. But chat crushed it tonight. Hail to the chat. So we'll do the housekeeping and we'll get out of here. So please subscribe to the channel if you're not, because we have this weird thing going on with this channel. This is an anomaly that has been plaguing us from the beginning. Our watch hours are like way ahead of where they should be. And I look at our analytics, and it's like 89 to 90% of our videos are being watched by non-subscribers.
Jeez.
Like, that's bizarre.
All you gotta do is hit that button.
Yeah, hit the button in the little ring the little bell. I'll notify you when we're making boring shit. And you can find us on the socials at GeekTime.net. That's the Twitter, the Faceplant, and the Instagrams.
Twitter. We put toy pictures on the Instagram. It's cool. Thank you, Dax. We do. Keith and I both trade off.
It's true. So, Pete.
It's that time again, huh?
It's that time. It's your time. Take it away.
See you next Tuesday.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain. No fucks given. Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain. No fucks given. Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain. No fucks given.
If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe, make sure you click the little bell icon to be notified anytime someone from our show drops new content here. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
Say, kids, what time is it?